evening, everybody, and welcome to the Touring Car Sim Racing League coming live. Well, I say live because we are technically live from where are we? Oh, we're from Suzuka, one of my favourite racetracks of the season. You join us just as we are starting. I will be here with you for the next roughly about 2 hours, going through all the fantastic racing action that we've got. We have about another 8 minutes left of the practice session. From the practice session, then we will be going into the qualifier, which is a 10-minute all bars no hold shootout. After that 10 minutes, we then go into race 1. Positions are determined by the qualifying positions from qualifying positions. Race 2 is exactly where they started, finished from race 1, and race 3 is a reverse grid from race 1, which is fantastic. Let's get over, because we've only got 7 minutes remaining. So there is a little bit of a change here. So Anton, who is down in 6th position, has actually left the championship. So everyone has actually been bumped down in terms of their weight ballast. It's a bit outdated on the sheet, but there it is. Which means that George at the top is actually only carrying 92 kilograms. So if he hasn't already, he should be thanking Anton for leaving the championship. As a result, he shaves off weight in the car. Butcher goes down from 92 kilograms to 80 kilograms. Markham goes from 80 kilograms, and then he goes down to 60 kilograms. You'll see there there's 3 drivers currently all tied. 108, 108, 108. That is Markham, Neil and T-Joke. The reason it is Markham carries the more ballast is because he's had the most race victories against T-Joke and Neil. Neil has no race victories to his name. I believe Markham has about 3 or 4. Which is why it's done that way. Table's a bit up, but that's the way it is. Then you've got T-Joke and you've got Neil. Then you've got Ashbourne in 7th, who's now 6th. Clough, who's from 8th to 6th, he's going to be the one to watch tonight. He has no ballast on board that car, but he will, if he gets another double or triple, will slowly accrue that for the remaining 3 rounds of the season. Flack is there in 9th. Papadim, that's Nick Papadim. He's going to miss the first race, but he should be back for 2nd and 3rds, just like when you go and have a dinner around your nan's house. Anton, is it Anton? It is Aaron, sorry, Aaron Large in the DHL, followed by Mike Bullen in the 12th, who's now 11th. Then you've got Deeks, Kane Alexander. Dougie is not racing because he graduated. He graduated yesterday, I think it was, so he's out partying all today. Can't remember which day it is. He's either got a hangover or he's about to get one. And then Beckett has actually dropped out of the championship. In terms of the teams, Crazy Drivers winning again, 217, followed by No Thrills Racing. Then you've got Aquili Racing, Nero Motorsport, Butcher, WTRF, Team Hard, and Zeus and Lone Wolf. In terms of the Dougie Trophy, the Dougie Trophy for is constitutes 2 things. 1, positions gained or lost in a race, the racing they're done, and if you have not had an outright race victory, which is why this table's very short. Neil's currently leading on 110, followed by Ashbourne, followed by Flack, Bull and Deeks, Papadim, Beckett isn't in the championship anymore, Alexander, and Doug, who is not racing. Neil is on point that he might get a race victory today. If he does, he's really going to have to decide which championship that he wants to fight for. Does he go after the main championship, or does he go after the Doug Dale Trophy, which means he's going to have to give up his opportunity of a race victory, which could see him lose a whole of points at the end of the season in terms of how he goes. But that's how it is, and that's where we are. We have got 12 drivers in tonight, all the way from the fastest currently on a 212.701, all the way down to a... Nobody set the time. The lowest on there is Stevie One Hogg. His fastest time's at 2:16.155. But Hogg he's in the what's he driving? He is in a VW. It's the Golf. It's the 2nd one in your picture there. So Butcher's on there as well. He's in the 23, and then you can see Ashbourne behind. He's in the 19. That is the Honda Elantra. Honda. It's not a Honda. It's a Hyundai Elantra. But they're all really suffering with that turn 1. Suzuka is very, very tricky as a race circuit. This is the S's complex that they go through, which is absolutely magnificent as we ride on board with him. You can see it's left, you go right, left, right, and then it actually tightens up here. Tyres are squealing. He'll come off, then it's left again, and it's the GP circuit, so we go over the bridge. We're not taking a right turn to go back onto the track here. We keep going and keep going and keep going, and then we actually go under the racetrack. This is a figure of 8 racetrack through the right again, which makes it super exciting. This is the figure of 8. We go under here. We actually now turn. We keep going right, and then we go to the hairpin. This is, as you remember, this is where sadly Jules Bianchi lost his life in the Formula 1. And then we climb again through the right-hander here. It's a sensational section of curve. It rewards those that are pinpoint accurate, that are brave, and that can master the entire circuit. It's a traditional racetrack in the sense that there is a lot of runoff, but the runoff is all grass, all gravel. There's very, very little in the way of any form of plain old tarmac like we see at Paul Ricard. This is 130R. This is a legendary race circuit as we come up over the crest of the hill through the left side here, and you'll see he's absolutely giving it in the sectors. A little rear end steps out there that unsettles the car. Then we go into the left right hander of the driver. It's the left right handers that we go through here, left then right, and he goes down back towards the start finish straight. It is a sensational track, this, in terms of commitment. 144 laps and 2:12 on a 15-minute race. At best, they will get 8 laps and on this circuit. Ballast is going to play a large factor here in terms of keeping the drivers nice and honest. Right, that is me. I'm your commentator, Andrew Pawley. I will be here for the entire race, or all the race of the season. Big shout out to our sponsors, Tony Tamiya Parts. They are a non-affiliated sponsor in the terms of the fact they do not give us any cash, which is why we don't come under the regulations under Facebook and putting on the paid promotions, because we're just not paid. As Butcher decides to get himself off, we'll go to McFlurry. Sorry, not McFlurry, we'll go to Michael Clough. Whoops. So a big shout out to them. They've looked after us for 2 seasons now. Fantastic company based in Birmingham. And they do Tamiyas, hence the Tamiya TTP models, Tony Tamiya Parts. We get an exclusive discount, TCSRL 10, we get 10%, TCSRL 5 is 5% off, all hop-ups or spares, not kits, sadly. But that does not matter if you're already in it, it is fantastic. Running wide again. A lot of them are going to be running wide through 130R. So it is going to be very, very tricky. The field isn't that far separated in terms of what we're seeing. T-Joke just went faster, but his lap was invalidated. So he went faster and then he was invalidated on the lap. So he's not going to be able to get that. Where did he pick that time up? Or it's coming in and out of the boards, you see. So it's really going to play into the hands of those that are committed. The Lincoln Co. here is not the car of choice. You're going to want something like T-Joke has got. Bullen put himself into 3rd. George is into 4th. Don't forget, George is carrying maximum ballast. It's readjusted for the fact that Anton left. And it is now all the way down there. Right, we're going to put this onto. We're going to keep this with Clough. We're going to see who's the first driver that comes up on the board white. I believe it is Michael. It's Butcher. So Butcher is the first driver, followed by George. They're all starting to make their way around the various corners. We are going to stay with Mr. Clough. We're going to see what he can do. He is predicted to be the fastest driver today in terms of qualifying and race pace, because he doesn't have any ballast on board. The problem he's going to have, he's going to climb rapidly up through the championship until we get to the last round of the season, which will be Donington. Then he's going to have ballast, and I guarantee he's probably going to have, he's run wide, he's going to have to abandon the lap. He's run wide already. And the lap is now abandoned. Let's pick up Butcher. Let's see how Butcher is doing. Let's do auto direct. We'll see where we go. So Clough, it's already picked up Clough because it believes he is going to be the fastest. We're going to ignore the system and go to Butcher. Butcher's the first. He's going to go through the first sector. He should be purple. predominantly because he's going to be the first driver in that sector. Aaron has abandoned his lap. Kane Alexander has joined her onto 13 drivers. It's going to get toasty as we get towards the end of the session. Right, where are we now? Who is coming up on the board? Butcher will be the first through the board, so he'll go purple. Yeah, he's going to go purple through that sector because he's the first driver in the sector. Has he had a disallowed? Yeah, he's gone purple, 55.436. So he's the top of the board at the moment. George is allegedly on track to become second. That's an absolutely cracking hairpin. It's a fantastic opportunity to do overtakes, but again, it makes it very, very tricky. It's going to be very, very close, what we're seeing here. In terms of the helicopter view, let's see if we can actually bring up the helicopter view. Yes, we have the helicopter. That's fantastic camera view, that. And this is 130R, so we're actually going to go back and we're going to ride on board with Butcher to show you if we can actually get this up. Nope, because I've lost the UI thing. Oh, well, never mind. Through 130R as he comes to the left. Now, he's going to be green in Sector 2. This is 130R. He's lost the rear end. So he's purple in all the sectors as we currently stand. He's going to be purple because he's the first driver through the whole section. And he's run wide. He's absolutely run wide. Now he's this close to the end of the line. He's going to have to cross it. Otherwise he's going to be at the back of the grid. He's abandoned the lap. That's the wrong thing he should do. It's the wrong thing that he's done there. Has he scampered his opportunity? He would have got a banker, at least got a banker on the board. Neil has gone fastest at the moment on a 2:13.341. There he is, Lincoln Co, number 100. Is it going to be fastest? No, Desiree. T-Joke has gone fastest, 2:12.627. That's not going to be the provisional lap. The fastest lap is going to be somewhere near a 2:12.4 is what I'm expecting on the board. Where is Clough? Clough hasn't finished his lap. He's going to cross the line. He was 5/10 sector. It was a 2:12.360. That is going to be exceptionally difficult to beat. He's 2/10 above T-Joke. What's T-Joke doing in that first sector? He's a 55.829 in terms of riding on board with him through the left-hander. It just keeps on going, endlessly going. Then they go down into fourth. There it is, flip down one gearbox through the rise, run wide. He's run wide. Has he kept it on the track just enough? What is his first sector time? 54.866 is what we're looking at. 54.781. He has gone faster. The question now is, can he keep it up? He is lighter on the ballast, like I said, due to the fact Anton's not racing anymore. Nick Papadima's joined. It's 13. It's a full assortment of field this evening. It's going to get magnetic as we get to race 1. Still riding on board with T-Joke, don't forget. We're looking for Sector 2. 1:43.099 is the fastest time out of that sector. He is doing all he can. The question is he doing enough? We're going to find out in less than 10 seconds as he goes through the second sector. 1:43.099. Currently fastest, Michael Clough in the Lincoln Co. What can he do? We're going to find out. Can he keep it? No. He's 0.4 of a second slower, and that will be the ballast. The ballast is affecting him in that sector. It's the final sector coming up. This is it. This is his do-or-die situation. He's got 5 minutes remaining. At best, he will get 2 more laps to try and get a qualifying time in. George is in 4th. Neil is in a solid 3rd. Bullen's currently in 5th. Markham's 5th. He's abandoned his lap. Where is Bullen? He's going for his next flying lap, 1:44. He's in a 55.368, so he's a bit off in that first sector. There's a load of clusters in that sector. Stevie Gone Hogs finally put a banker in. He's gone fastest. He's a 2:15.670, but he is returning. And because he's returning, he is struggling. We're up to 14 drivers now. Kane Alexander, the man who loves a McFlurry. The question is he going to get himself a one-way ticket to the drive-thru tonight? I just don't know. We will find out. Every single race so far, he has raw speed. This man here, Kane Alexander, he has a lot of talent, but it's just every so often these little mistakes creep in. We saw it at Brands Hatch. We saw it at Watkins Glen. So he does have the pace. It's whether or not he's got the stamina in order to keep it up for the entire 15 minutes. That's what's going to be really, really tricky as we get through to the second through these 3 races this evening. So we'll see how that progresses through the day. Clough is still fastest at 2:12. He hasn't really gone any faster. T-Joke is second. Neil is in third, but he's I wouldn't call it a solid third. There he is, another Lincoln Co. It's a 2:12.879. T-Joke has had his last lap disallowed. Neil has not gone any faster. He's not going any faster. George has benefited from having the light load. He's gone faster sector 1, 54.744. That is 1/10 of a second faster than everybody else. That's going to be really, really difficult. Racing at home. The Discord link, I will source you out on Facebook after. I think you sent me an email. Not an email, a private message. I will send you the link after. Don't worry, I will do it at the end of the day. I've just been really, really busy at work and I had to rebuild OBS again, but we're back to full assortment of driver interviews. So do not worry, just hang tight. So the question is here, we're looking for that 143.099. What can he do? East again. There's that second sector. So he's up. He lost nearly a second in that sector. And that's going to be key. So it looks like the ballast in sector 2 is where these drivers are really, really suffering. But again, the second sector is a very high-paced, fast sector. He should abandon this lap. He's not going to go any faster. He's just not going to go any faster. He should abandon the lap and he can have one more go at the bite of the cherry. So he needs to reset the car. I don't think he'll get a go of it. I think he's missed the boat here. I genuinely think he's missed the boat. That's the problem. It's really, really difficult. Racing at home, and it says, thanks, man. Looking forward to it next week. The league doesn't let drivers just join in every single week, I'm afraid. So you'd have to wait until the end of the season, and then you could join in the regular Wednesday racing at that point. It's just something that happens at halfway through the season. No new drivers are allowed in. It's to do with the fact that there are some prizes, but that's why. But I will still send you the Discord link. Be part of the community. Back to this. Where is he? He's not really doing Ashbourne. I've not really talked about him. He's just going to park it on the road. T-Joke did go faster while I was looking at all of that. Where did he do that? Where's he done that? That's first sector. Sector 1, blinking heck, that's rapid. So to give you a comparison, and Clough's just gone faster and faster again. He must have kept something in the tank there. So T-Joke did a 54.530, and Clough's done a 54.481. Sector 2's a 143.420 for T-Joke, 143, yeah. 143, he's 3/10 up. So I think he's just let the gods of war here in order to let it go. He's unrestrained, that Lincoln Co., and he should cross the line easily in first by a large margin. Yeah, well, I say that, it's 0.07 of a tenth. It's not that large. There's still drivers out on track, so the boards could change. But I don't think anyone's really going to go any faster than Clough. Clough is 2:12, followed by T-Joke, followed by Bullen in a surprise third. The Yamaworks boy turned up from nowhere. He's in a Honda at a Honda circuit, followed by Neil, George, Ashbourne. Markham's in 7th, Butcher's in 8th, Deeks is in 9th. Not really talked about Deeks, he's just kind of having a day. Aaron is in 10th, Alexander's in 11th. Watch out for him. Speedy Gone Hogs in 12th, and Poddy's in 13th, which is a bit surprising for Poddy, so I suspect he's probably spent it off the road somewhere. And as a result, that has probably cost him that time. Didn't really look at him, but there we go. So that's how it stacks up. I think it's going to be I think you're going to end up with a 3-way battle for the lead, and then followed a very intense mid-section battle. We've got 53 seconds remaining, and then we are going to go racing for the first race of the evening. Now, qualifying positions have determined the race grid positions for race 1. Race 2 is determined from the finishing positions of race 1, and race 3 is a reverse grid of the finishing positions of race 1. And it's done like that because it keeps everything nice. It allows other drivers who never give the opportunity to run up front to run up front. We do carry ballast on board. Tyre wear is at 2 times tyre wear, which means that it basically simulates a full BTC 30-minute race, and as a result, the 2 times tyre wear does affect the drivers. It does actually cause a lot of issues, which means it's another thing they're going to have to master. Here we go, the lights are flashing, everybody will get ready. The question is, who is going to be victorious into the first corner? Who is going to take the first win of the second half of this season? Let's find out. The engine notes rise and away they go. A little bit of a delay there, but we're out and off. Clough has got a fantastic lead off the start. Bullen, third car in the row in the 88. Does he go up the inside of Tijo? No, he doesn't. He keeps it nice and tidy. George is on the left side. Neil is that 100 Cyan Co. He's the 1, 2, 3, 4 car in the row. There he is. He is just got ahead of George. George is the 96. Has he managed to sort himself out just enough as they've all filed themselves into the first corner? Sensational stuff. But at the front, Clough has just managed to get a little bit of a distance from second place man, which is Tijo. Tijo there. He is in the number 55 second car in the row. But if we now ride on board with George, here he is. He's right to doors. There's contact. There's contact already. A little bit of a bump and a grind. He's managed to regain it, hold on to the position. You get the feeling at the very early stages of this race. Bullen's gone up the inside of Tijo. Tijo's on the right side. Bullen's done it. Sensational move. The question is now, riding from the rear camera of second place man, Mike Bullen started third, don't forget, as they're all scrabbling in the background. There is Simon Ashbourne. He's right on the heels of fifth place man, George, just ahead of him. There he is in the green 96. There's the Hyundai in the number 19. Right behind him in that 18 is Aaron Markham, and Craig Deeks is behind that in the white Hyundai. Through the left-hander here, keeps it nice and tidy as we get closer and closer to 130R. The question is now, who is going to have the ultimate speed as we go across to the heli camera? You can see here, there is Ashbourne just ahead of him in fifth place is George. Behind that is Aaron Markham, as they're absolutely all nip and tuck as we drive now to Stu Neal, who looks like, is he going to take an opportunity here, sliding through 130R. He's in fourth place, don't forget. Just ahead of him is the third place man. There he is, Tijo. Tijo is coming under extreme pressure now from the driver ahead and the driver behind. The thing is, it is teammates. There is a slowdown warning for Nick Papadim and for Poddy Flack. It'll just be a slight little track limit of use. Here we go. Can Tijo, you can see George in the background. George is going to go for the defence. Can he do anything here? Is he able to hold on to it? Oh, just enough. Sweeps in front of the Hyundai. Closes that door shut, and as a result, he is now still ahead in fifth position. Don't forget, he's got 90 kilograms on board this vehicle. Right behind that is Simon Ashbourne. He's carrying ballast, but not enough. Then you've got Markham. They're all streaming through one by one, two by two, as we now jump to Ashbourne, who riding on board now is trying to deliver it, is trying to get past the man in front. This is fifth. We can see here, this is where he'll start to gain on the car in front. Less than 2/10 will be under that number. The question is he going to be close enough? Is he going to do anything? Is he going to be able to? Oh, he's bounced across the curbs. He's managed to hold on to it just enough. All four wheels, 1, 2, 3, 4, counted, pointing in the right direction as they're all streaming through now into lap 2 of the race. Predicted lap time is, like I said, oh, he's outbraked himself. He's outbraked himself. How many cars get through? 1, 2, 3. He can't close the door shut. Aaron gives him just enough room. The gentleman's agreement, one width, and he's managed to do it, but he hasn't let it go. Ashbourne in the number 19, right side of your screen. Aaron is now on the right side of the screen. It's Honda versus Hyundai. It's Japan versus Korea. The question is, who is going to come victorious? They're still side by side. They're still side by side. It's going to get really, really dangerous into 130R. Question is, can anyone else try and join the party? No, he's shut that door shut, but you can see now Ashbourne is the blocker from the entire field behind. This is Ashbourne He is in 7th position. Behind that is Craig Deeks in the number 89. Right behind that is Butcher. Butcher sliding the 4 wheels off the car. There he is. He's the 23 Audi. And then you can see Nick Papadim and the 2 Kane Alexander and Poddy Flack in the background. That is Kane Alexander in the 68. The number 11 is Poddy Flack. Behind that is Nick Papadim. There he is. He wasn't meant to be in this race, but he's managed to get himself home and he's fired up inside the cockpit. Question is, can he do anything from here? Can he sail it up the inside? That Renault on the left side is mighty on the brakes. He just needs a little bit of confidence that he can deliver this result. But again, he's not a fan of this racetrack. This racetrack really sorts people out. You either love it or hate it. We leave that battle and rejoin the battle for 8th position. In 8th position is the 82, that bright white. Oh, Craig, I don't know where Craig's going. He needs to hold on to it. Absolutely wringing the neck of that Hyundai. Right behind him is Butcher. He's right on his rear end, as you can see here from the forward casing. As we ride now, he's run wide. Butcher's run wide. Aaron, the DHL, sneak past. He says, thank you very much. Tick that box. Next driver up the road. Sensational stuff between those two. In the background, Kane Alexander is past the Poddy Flag. Nick Papadim is still trying to... yeah, Craig got a slow down warning. I thought he would. At the front, not really covered it. Clough is absolutely miles ahead. He's 1 point away. He's not. Bullen is keeping him honest. At the front, Butcher trying to regain that position. The question is he going to be able to do it? Is Butcher going to be able to hold on to it? I don't think he will. Butcher, there he is in the 23. As you can see, riding on board with him now through this right-hander as we climb up over the crest of the hill to the left-hander, which will go down to a sensational corner. Car sliding in the front. Aaron is absolutely wringing the neck of that car. He's taken completely the wrong line. Well, I say that. There's 2 lines through that corner, and it seems some drivers go wide, other drivers don't. In the back, I think Poddy's got damage. Either Poddy's got damage or he's run himself off the road, because he's really suffering in that car. We leave that battle. Let's listen to the engines. Is he able to drive? That car's got engine damage. There is damage to that car. Neil pushing. He's kind of in no man's land at the moment. He's kind of can't go faster than the man in front, can't go slower than the man behind. He is the roadblocker here. As you can see in the background as well, Markham's tyres, I think, are starting to suffer now. There he is. So he's now got Simon, who's been released from the battle behind. He tries to go around the outside. That's going to go one way only. He's given a little bit of a love tap to the back of the car. Lets him go past. Says, there you go. Sorry about that. Moves on. Right. Leaving that battle, trying to keep up here. Kane Alexander in 11th position. There he is in the 68. Just ahead of him is Butcher. Butcher is trying to deliver something here. The question is, he's got ballast on board. The question is the ballast going to be effective? Is it going to hamper him? As you can see in the front, they're all now slowly but surely dragging themselves towards this man here in the number 18. Neil is still defending from George in 4th and 5th. I am keeping an eye on that battle. This is the battle for 6th. In 6th position is Aaron Markham in that number 18. Right behind that is the number 19 of the Hyundai of Simon. Then you've got the white Hyundai of Craig Deek. Then Aaron, then Butcher, then Kane. So they're all kind of trying to get past. That's compromised Simon. Is he going to get back in line? Is he going to be able to hold on to that? As we look from the rear-facing camera now, Mike Clough has had a slow-down penalty, but he's miles ahead. Chijo is on the back. Craig Deek is now on the rear end, and he's trying to catch up with Ashbourne. Ashbourne is just ahead. He is in 7th position. There is 6th. Markham is defending for all he's worth. He's holding on to everything he can get hold of. The question is, can he deliver this? Can he be the driver that takes the race, takes this midfield battle? We have less than 7 minutes to find out. Hold on to your horses. Neil is pushing hard now. He's pushing hard and defending. He's gone 2x2. 2x2 into into 130R. This is dangerous. They've managed to hold on to themselves, but in the background, there's still, he's outbraked himself. Simon has done a Kane Alexander. Off to McFlurry Land he goes. Can he regain onto the track? How many places? 1, 2, 3. Does he lose out to 4, 5 and 6 behind? And Kane Alexander had a slow down penalty. That's the problem, is that you follow that driver and everyone else does it. He's gone backwards and backwards, but we leave now. So the question is Ashbourne in 10th position? They're going to get away from the DHL of the number 32. There is Aaron. Now Nick Papadim in the 34 is making progress in the background. Right, we're going to leave that battle, and he's got past, but he's right on the rear. Butcher, T-Joke, is now at the side of Bullen, but Bullen is going to not let him through. Is he going to do it? They're still side by side, giving each other sensational racing room through the traffic cones. He does. Brilliant move, brilliant driving. Now the question is, can T-Joke be released in that 55? There he is. There is T-Joke. He is in the Seat Cupra. Right behind that is Mike Bullen, who was riding in second. He qualified third and is still in third. In the background, George and Neil. This is fourth and fifth. Riding from the rear view camera now, you can see he's all over his rear end. The question is he going to survive? Through the hairpin they go. Goes up the gearbox, second, third, into fourth, building up that speed. We will get over to 110 miles an hour through the right-hander, hit the traffic cones. Be careful. Right behind that now, from Neil. This is Neil. He's in fourth position. Behind him in fifth position, that is the 96 of George. He is carrying 92 kilograms on board that car, not 100 kilograms. He is trying to do all that he can. He will be absolutely ecstatic with a fifth place finish, especially from Monza last week where he suffered with the ballast. The fight for second isn't over yet. Ashbourne hasn't given up on Butcher either. I am keeping an eye on it, but we are watching the battle for fourth position. There is Ashbourne in the background. He now has a lovely toe from Butcher. Does he go up the inside? Do they go side by side? Contact as he turns in. He's left just enough room. Butcher is going to be the loser there, I think. Butcher turning in is going to be on the outside into the hairpin. He's had to let that go. And Simon's outbraked himself again. It's deja vu, and look at Nick Papadim in the Renault Megane, that number 34. There he is. He's just rubbing his hands. He's then starting at the back. I'm up to ninth. Craig Deek has had a retirement in the background. I think that's points. I'm not quite sure, but that's what it is. Right behind that, there he is, 34. Does Ashbourne run wide? Ashbourne ran wide, and then Papadim followed him. That's the problem when you're following the driver ahead, is that if they make a mistake, the driver behind makes a mistake. We are in ninth position. Yes, and I do have a call. Just ahead of us is Simon Ashbourne. He's in eighth. Ahead of that is Butcher. Behind us, from the rear view facing camera, there he is. There is Aaron Large. It's a DHL package, and there's the number 68 of Kane Alexander. Kane Alexander said, oh, I thought he was going to swipe it up the inside, but he holds all four wheels on the track. Sensational move. Mike Bullen, the second and third battle is kind of slowed down, but I am keeping an eye on fourth and fifth. In fourth, Neil, we're going to flip to that battle, has been defending for the entire race from fifth place man George. The 100, there is Stu Neal. Right behind that in the 96. That 96 there is George. But we're going to leave that and rejoin the battle now for 7. So, in 7th position is Simon Ashbourne. Behind that is Butcher. He's in the 23rd. Nick Papadim is going to attempt to go around Aaron Large, but Aaron Large is actually going to attempt to go around the outside of Nick Papadim. But that's not going to work. He's going to have utmost confidence in the late break. Yeah, he's just not going to work around here. He's slower through that section. Nick doesn't get the car stopped and rotated as quickly as he could, and that slows him down. Aaron actually needs to be a little bit behind coming into that corner, and then he can actually gain better traction exiting the corner. And then he'll actually have a much better slipstream. So he needs to think tactically there. But as the difference is, when you're out here in the commentary box and when you're in there driving, two different things can happen. As we find out most often weeks, through the right left-hander chicane before we go for another lap, which will be the last lap of race 1. It's 7 laps. It's that fast. And Nick Papadim here, this is his last real opportunity. He's going to go to the left now of Butcher. The question is, can he go quick enough? Can he take this position? Can he do it? Can he actually deliver it? Can he get past? No, yes, no, yes. Yes, he has. Sensational move, utmost commitment. The problem now is he's got to get away from Butcher. Butcher is the second car in your line, the number 23. He is not a basket short of a picnic, which means he has the ability to do this. But Nick Papadim, like I said in that Renault is absolutely magnetic in the right hands. And Nick just seems to be able to extract the maximum from that car. He doesn't have any ballast, so in race 2, this is where he could really, really shine. Stu Neal is still leading. No, he isn't. He's got past. He's made a mistake. He's outrun himself. He's outbraked himself. He needs to get that back on the road quicker than he can get on the road. Get on the road. He's on the road. If he doesn't get that car up to speed, right behind it, you can see Nick Papadim is attempting to do all he can to Ashbourne. Is he going to get past? He should get this done into the hairpin. Ashbourne just needs to keep it nice and tidy, go for the cutback, but he hasn't done it. He hasn't been able to do it. Do not forget, Ashbourne is carrying ballast, if I remember correctly, and that is going to hamper his progress in this latter half of the race. I don't think Nick Papadim's going to be able to get past. Aaron is now going to attempt to go after Butcher. There is Aaron. Just ahead of Aaron is Butcher. There he is. These two are equal machinery. Same nationalities, and they're trying to each get that last, the girl get championship points today. They're all trying to push it. Kane Alexander has kept it on the road for the entire race, and Stevie Gone Hog, not really talked about Stevie Gone Hog, sensational drive from him. He's really starting to deliver now. The question is, can Butcher take this? Can he hold on to one mistake? He's got 2 corners to go. If he doesn't do this, he's going to be going home with no trophies. There won't be a trophy for ninth, but he can think of one. The question is, through the left-hander, Ashbourne has managed to navigate the corner, which is very good for him because he can actually get through, so Ashbourne will come home. Clough has won the race, but we're sticking with this battle, the battle for 8th position. The question is, that's the wrong board as they all cross the line. Sensational as they all now show off for the screen. And that's the beauty of Race Room. You can't crash into each other. So your winner, who I never really talked about for much of the race, was Michael Clough, followed by T-Joke, followed by Bullen. Bullen came home in 3rd, started 3rd, finished in 3rd. Sensational drive from him. George is in 4th, Neil is in 5th, Markham is in 6th, Papadim is in 7th, Ashbourne is in 8th, Butcher is in 9th, Large is in 10th, Alexander is in 11th, Gone Hog is in 12th, Flack is in 13th. That is very, very odd. Deeks had a DNF. Well, there we go. He must have broken some form of suspension. I don't know. But that's how it stands up. Your race winner was Michael Clough. Your fastest lap came from T-Joke. Well, there we go. Right. Welcome. We're back. We're back in the commentary box. We should be able now to get live drivers. Let's give this a go. We'll work up to the board. Yes, we have. So here we go. We're going to go into the boards. We're going to see if we've actually got the able to talk to people. We're rebuilding OBS a lot. Right, so we have Ashbourne and we've got Butcher in here first. We're going to start off with Ashbourne. That's Simon Ashbourne. I just abbreviated the names. Simon, can you hear me?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. We're back. We're back. Fantastic. And we've got commentary and everything, which is really, really good. Right, so there's quite a lot of people in here, so we're going to keep it brief because there might not be a lot of time. A quick couple of things. First of all, race 1 looked very, very intense from your point of view. Lots and lots of battling. A couple of mistakes were creeping in there.
Locking brakes, punting Russ at the back end, so I need to apologise to him because I was out braking myself all the time. I'm just horrible on Suzuka. Horrible on Suzuka. I really hate it. I got 16 points, and that was just me going off track and tapping other people. It was terrible. Awful by my standards. Awful.
It's a very tricky track, though. It looks really, really simple, but because it's very fast-flowing, hard braking zones, and it's a traditional track, it means that you get bunches of cars together. So makes it very exciting. Right, I've only got about 5 minutes left.
Yes, move on from me. It was very depressing.
So, okay, we'll have a longer time at the end of the 3 races. Right, very, very good luck to that. Right, quickly go to Butcher. Russ, looked like you were right in the mix of in the battles there with everybody else. Just a quick couple of words. How was it? How was it battling like that today?
It's great. It's hard work. Very hard work. It was great fun with Simon, especially he got a better run than me out of 130 hour, I think it was.
Yes.
And he got down the inside at the really fast left-hander, and I managed to hold it round the outside at the chicane and get him back. That was great. That was fantastic. But the ballast is just killing the Audi out on the drive out of the corners.
Yeah, that's what it looks like. It looks like in Sector 1, you're able to keep up or even go faster. We saw it with T-Joke and George, but hit that Sector 2 where it's the momentum and it doesn't look like it's got the legs there.
It hasn't, mate. Out that hairpin, it just hasn't got the legs. It loses it, and literally second sector, third sector, we're a sitting duck. As soon as the tyres go off, anything below sort of 70%, the car's just a sitting duck.
It's just gone.
But luckily, Simon and Craig and Aaron were fighting for a little bit, so we were able to hold with them for a little bit. But once we drop the toe as well, we're no good.
But again, the benefit of that is you'll shed some ballast.
We'll keep going.
So, right, brilliant. No doubt I'll talk to you at some point. Usually at the end of the entire thing. Good luck for the next race and talk to you after. We're going to quickly go to Mike Bullen. Started third, up to second, back to third. He's in a Honda. It is a Japanese car at a Japanese track. Mike, take us through that. I mean, I wasn't expecting you, and I'll be honest, in third, to be honest. But you looked like you were really fighting it there.
Favourite track of mine. Once I'd sort of figured out Sector 1, I knew I'd be strong, so I've done plenty of practice on Sector 1 over the last week to get that nailed. From the first two Degners on, it's a real comfortable track for me. Car feels good around here, lots of mid-speed and high-speed corners which suit the Honda. Really, really good session. I knew I was never really going to be able to fight Cluffy because he's just so quick. Managed to get ahead of Suzuka quite early on, but I made a few mistakes. He battled me back, and then we just followed each other. But good battle, and absolutely delighted to be on the podium.
Well, it looked fantastic. It looked absolutely brilliant. Very, very good luck for race 2. Starting third, real opportunity here. It's a hard track to pass on, but good luck. Very, very good luck for the second race.
Cheers.
And finally over to Aaron. Last time we talked to Aaron, he was a race winner. Now he's just in the mid-pack trying to put 4 wheels on the track. Aaron, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Take very quickly, because there's only 3 minutes to go, just a quick sum up of what looked like a very, very exhausting race. It looked exciting, but equally really have to be on it.
Wasn't that bad actually. Not to sound full of myself, but no, actually went relatively smoothly. Just did my thing, drove as fast as I can with 60 kg of ballast, and P6 about right really. If I get the slipstream, I'll be a little bit better.
But it's a really, really, it's a good haul of points that you'll get as well, especially from P6. But do you find that because it's a classic style track that you can it's easy to defend because it's not so wide? Obviously, forgetting the main straight. Do you find it easier to defend?
Yes, definitely. But in the same breath, it's quite easy to set people up for moves. Like moving the car about and making them defend fresh air.
Yes.
I got lucky with Simon running wide. Otherwise, I think I'd have had to have been really clever in setting up an overtake. But yeah, you're definitely right.
I shifted down to neutral.
We'll edit that out. We didn't hear that. I'll edit that out. I'll edit that out. Right, okay. Well, that was brilliant. Aaron, brilliant. Simon, brilliant. Russ, brilliant. And Mike, who's left, fantastic. I'm sure race 2 is going to be magnetic. I will all let you go, and we will go back over to the main stream. I've actually got to end it. You've got to love technology. There we go. So we'll end the call in here. See quite a few of you watching. Please add your questions in there. We can see it through here. A couple of questions did come in. It was on a different thing that someone asked me. Where is it? It was on one of these here. Yes, I have got a new commentary box. By that, I mean I've tidied my commentary box, as in I've actually got a desk with computers on it. The blind is still here. Do not worry, the blind is still here. It will be here forever. But I have some new posters that I have put up. This John Cleland, Legends, and is a Volvo, and I love my Volvos. So that's why it's up there. So we've got 1 minute to go. We'll go back over to the main feed. We'll make sure that I've actually put the sound on because I have a tendency to forget to redo that. So it's going to be a very, very exciting second race. 51 seconds until we launch. And then we will see how this goes. Right. We're just playing with a couple of the audio settings there. So, yeah, it's going to be very exciting. I think Cloughy is just going to take the second win again. I think it's just going to be a double-double for him. And because of that, I think that's really, really going to not hurt him. I think that's the wrong word. It's now set to late evening on the board, which is why you see it like that. Yeah, I think it's going to be a double header for Cloughy, really. The problem he's got is that he's going to be winning so much over this week, probably next week, that when we get to the final section of the season, he's going to be carrying a lot of ballast, which is why odds-on favourite, when you look at it statistically, you want to be carrying maximum ballast for the middle section of the season, rounds 4, 5 and 6. That's where you want maximum ballast because it gives you a competitive advantage as you get towards the end of the season. So that's what makes it very exciting. So George, I know, is suffering at the moment. T-Joke is suffering at the moment. Aaron is suffering at the moment because of the ballast, same as Butcher. But the benefit they've got is that as they get through the season, they will slowly lose that ballast, which gives them the optimum range. Now, Stu is... I think he's just being outpaced at the moment, just because Cloughy's so quick. But watch out for him. I have watched him in another league, and he always places top 5. Always places top 5. I am a bit surprised by Flack at the back, but again, that could be a tactical thing. He could have just damaged the car, because if you do ride the curbs too hard, it will break the suspension. And if you break your suspension, you're going nowhere. Which makes that very, very exciting. Well, it makes it exciting for us to watch. It makes it a nightmare for the drivers at home. That is, I mean, if you damage your suspension, then yeah. So here we go. Lights are flashing red. We will go racing in about 4 more times. Hold on to your seats. We are about to go racing, and off we go. They've launched the car. Nick Papadim in the number 34 has had a fantastic start. The question is, has he started enough? Has he managed to get any places? No, he hasn't. Mike Bullen in the 88. He's going to assail it up the inside. Has Nick Papadim done anything from there? No, he hasn't. There he is. He is the number 34. He is the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5th car, 6th car, 5th car. He's all over the board. Aaron in that 18 isn't going to give that place lightly. Sensational stuff in the background. They are all squabbling. Poddy is off the road. Stu Neal, not what happened to Stu Neal. Stu Neal's still parked on the car park. And then Poddy, what has gone on with Poddy tonight? He's probably broken something. Either Stu Neal has had a jump start, or he's had a disconnect, or he's still in the game and my computer has just had a complete nightmare. But that's where it is. Nick Papadim is now ahead of George. George isn't fighting Nick Papadim. That's why he's let him go. But Nick Papadim now is going to attempt to try and get a race victory. He is rapid in that 34, but how rapid he is down to various different things. It's going to be very, very tricky. Stu Neal is still sat on the board on the road, but there we go. Your current leader is Clough by just over half a second from T-Joke. Third is Mike Bullen. There he is in the Honda. Right behind that is the very fast-moving Nick Papadim, but you can see from the rear view camera a 4th place man, Nick Papadim. There is George. He just wants to get home and grab as many points as he can. He is in the prime statistical position for the rest of the championship. There he is. There is George in the 96. Right behind that is Markham. And now Nick Papadim is right at the rear end of the number 3, the 88. He's going to go past. The question is he going to go past quick enough? Is he going to be able to do it through the right-hand side? We can't see because of the board. Left-hand side, can he do it? Nick Papadim has done it. Bullen has just hit the slowdown. No, he hasn't. He's gone off into the distance. Has he managed to hold on to the position just enough? Sensational! In the background, T-Joke is now challenging for the lead. So Michael Clough hasn't had the fastest start or getaway that he needs to have at this time. Before he was nearly a second. George has gone defensive. There he is, riding on board. The entire field behind. Someone has got in the pit lane. The question is, who is going to be victorious? Is Markham in that 18 going to be able to pounce going into turn 1? Body flag for the slowdown penalty through the right-hand side. Oh, George is slightly tapping the brakes, unsettling the rear of the car, but he seems to do that to gain the maximum amount of speed. This is the battle for 5th. In 5th position, here he is. That's the 96 of George. 92 kilograms on board that car. All he wants is points. He doesn't care tonight about the prizes. It's about getting as many points without having a DNF or a DISQ. That's what he wants. Right behind him is Aaron Markham in the number 18. He is delivering at the moment. The question is, can he get faster? Starting in 6th, still in 6th. But at the front, so this is 1st, 2nd and 3rd. In 3rd position is Nick Papadim. There he is. I've been talking about him for a long time. He's really starting to find some real pace in that car. I'm not sure what's happening with Clough. There he is from the rear view camera now. He's in 1st possession. Right behind him in 2nd, that is the 55 of T-Joke. Right behind that is the 34 of Nick. The problem is, Bullen's just kind of in no man's land, but he is going backwards. So this is getting a little bit tasty in terms of what's going to happen in this 2nd section of the race. 2/3 to go, 1/3 nearly completed. Nick Papadim, there he is in the 34. Through the left-hand side, T-Joke is carrying ballast on board. So that's going to really start to hamper him at this stage of the race. He's going to be saving his tyres. Stu Neal coming on saying he's had a computer technical failure. He's going to be raging in his helmet, but that's how it is. Sit and enjoy. Nick Papadim going to go round the outside into 130R. This is not an advisory move. He's really going to have to sell him a dummy. He set him up, but he will be on the outside into the chicane. That's the problem. Hard on the brakes. T-Joke just letting him know he's there. Gets a little bit of love tap. Does that compromise? No, not really. Not really. He's managed to get the job done. He's managed to get back. So this is 3rd place. This is Nick Papadim. T-Joke, this is the man he's fighting. He's in 2nd position. The problem he now has, is he going to be able to hold on to this? T-Joke he's just punching a hole in the air. Nick Papadim should go past. A little bit of a wobble between these two, but just enough to hold them in. Through the left-hander, gets the job done all over again. Holds the position. Ashbourne, there he is. He's down in 7th position. He's slowly fighting the number 18 of Aaron, but Aaron has had so much problems with his ballast. He's really starting to suffer in terms of holding on to that, so that's really going to challenge him. The question is he going to be able to do things? Aaron in the 32, there he is. He's in 9th position, DHL. He is fighting the 23 of Butcher. Equal machinery, equal nationalities. The question is, who will be victorious? Kane Alexander is going to right behind. He is riding on board now with Kane Alexander. There he is. This isn't Kane Alexander, this is Kane Alexander, and he's made that larger. He's in 10th position. Right ahead of him is 9th, and that is. But we leave this battle and rejoin the battle for the lead. So Nick Papadim is trying to get past again the 55. He's going to have to set him up and really think about where he wants to pull this move. Because if he pulls it in the wrong place, he's going to take him one. Oh, he's glitching. T-Joke is glitching at the front. I think he's got some internet issues because we run on a private paid-for server here. We don't use that SimGP thing. We use a private paid-for server, which means that we always maximize ping rates of around 8 at all times, which allows us to go racing. But he's pinging away, so it must be the storm, but we will find out. These two are too busy fighting each other in 2nd and 3rd. There is 3rd place, number 34. We leave that. The question is he going to be able to do anything? Is he going to be able to launch it up the inside? He's not close enough. He's just not close enough on this lap. Sailing in the background, T-Joke is now starting to lose when it comes to the driver behind. There is George. George in the 96 is now not making any real inroads into Bullen. Bullen seems to now got his eye in on what's happening. He's in a solid 4th. Starting 3rd, don't forget, has lost a position. Michael Clough here could be saved a race because because Nick Papadim in third, he's just stuck behind T-Joke. T-Joke is not going to give that position up. Poddy Flack, another slowdown penalty for track limit. I think he's broken the car, or the pedals have gone, or something's gone wrong, which means he's all the way at the back. This is the battle for second. So, quick recap, Michael Clough is leading the race. He's been gifted another great opportunity because these two are so busy fighting each other that Nick Papadim hasn't been able to be released from the driver ahead. He's got to clear him. He's got to clear him in the next minute, at the 6-minute mark. If Nick Papadim in third has not cleared this man here, T-Joke, he will not be able to get any real inroads into Michael Clough. At the moment, I think Clough has just got a 1.5 second lead and he's just managing the tyres. But that's how it is at the moment. So this is the battle for 8th position. In 8th position is Butchers. We're riding on board with him now. Right behind that is Large, and Kane Alexander is really finding his feet on Suzuka. He really looks like he's enjoying this one. He's 2 cars behind. There he is in that Lincoln Co. Hard on the brakes. Aaron is trying to also attack and defend. That's the problem. Riding on board now with Kane Alexander in 10th position. He is in the prime time position. As we see the gap there, it slowly comes down as the second phase starts to climb up. Butcher saying before is that this is where ballast really hurts a car with a car with ballast, not a ballasted car. And as a result, Butcher, who is in 8th position, he's not the yellow one, he's the white one. Audi and Lincoln Co. They're all fighting each other and they are now causing each other problems. And it's going to be really, really tricky as Aaron goes to the outside. He's not going to go round there. He's going to be 2 wheels on the grass. And that's going to allow Kane Alexander to go up the inside of him. That's the roar. He's thought better of it. Kane Alexander there in the 68 has just thought better of that move. He's thought, nah, I just want to keep 4 wheels on the road. That is the drive thinking man's game. He's thought about it. Craig Deek at the back just trying to finish the race. Poddy Flack is 78 seconds behind. Something must have gone on that car. But Nick Papadim now is right on the rear end. And look at Mike Bullen in the 88 purple Honda. He's the 1-2-3rd car in the row. He's not going to be able to do it around there. T-Joke is a wily old fox. But look at Bullen. So much more confident on the brakes. And you can see here, he's absolutely sitting in the cockpit, rubbing his hands going, come on lads, get a move on. Either move it or get out of the way. Here I come. He's slowly but surely gaining and gaining and gaining, lap after lap, corner after corner. He's closing the gap. It's the middle sector where he really sets the timing sheets alight. And that's the problem he's got. It's that in the third sector, he's just not got a good enough drive coming out the corner. And these two are too busy squabbling. This is second place man. We're riding on board now with T-Joke. Right behind that is Nick Papadim as he goes from the front view camera. He's so close you could breathe and smell the exhaust fumes through the right hand into the hairpin. This is going to be very, very tricky. It's going to be very, very careful of where they go through the left-hander as they start to climb now up over the crest of the hill. There is second, third, fourth, all nose to tail, all trying to get an advantage on the other driver. This is sector 2, 4 minutes 44 remaining. We are 2/3 through with 1/3 to go. Sensational stuff. It is still 13 drivers. Neil is not in it. Neil has had a VR headset failure, so he's sitting this out. He's watching at home. He's thinking, here I come. Watch out, boys. I'm in race 3, but here we go. Here comes Nick Papadim. Is he going to be able to do it through the left-hand side? He's got the advantage, but he has to wind up the gearbox because he has to get through this into 130R. This is a treacherous corner. A little bit of a love touch between both of them through the left side. T-Joke, sensational move, but T-Joke is going to go far to the right screen. There he is. Is he going to be able to hold on to it? They're going to be side by side. He's not going to go around there. Is he going to hold on to it? No, he just gives him enough room, squeezes him off and says, here I come, boys. Into second he goes. Sensational move there from Nick Papadim. But look at Mike Bullen in the 88. There he is in the Yamaha Works. There is second, third and fourth. Mike Bullen now. Can he do anything with 3 minutes 45 remaining? Through into turn 1. Look how much more confident, or a little bit of a tweak there at the rear end. Nick Papadim is not getting away He's not able to hold on to that position. He's just doing all he needs to do to be able to deliver this. Can he deliver it in the remaining 3 minutes 26? That will be 2 remaining laps. Clough has checked himself out of the hotel at the front. 3 seconds 34 is the gap between first and second. Nick Papadim is not getting away. He's not being able to hold on to it there. Riding on board now is second place man Nick Papadim. In third place, don't forget, is T-Joke starting second. In third, Bullen starting third, now in fourth. Nick Papadim has been the bridesmaid that has ruined the wedding. The question is, he's not going to be able to do anything. He was too late passing the man ahead, and as a result, he's just not been able to do it. As we go through now, as we see Aaron has actually gone off the track as they come through into second, third, fourth, fifth. There is sixth position. You can see how far they are ahead of the drivers ahead. They're all fighting each other now, trying to get the biggest position, trying to hold on to it. Not quite sure what the guy was doing in the camera, but there we go. It's probably Alonso through the left side, really holding on to it now, hard on the brakes. This is where he's got to make that gap. Got to make that gap. Now, here is Aaron. This is the battle for 8th. In 8th position is Butcher. It is still Butcher. In 9th position, that is the yellow car of Aaron, and right behind that, this man here, as we ride on board with him now, this is 10th place man. He is fighting the man ahead. The question is he going to be able to fight him enough? Is he going to be able to deliver this? Is he going to be able to do anything in this closing sections of the race? I just don't think he does. I don't think he's going to be able to do it. They're all bumping and grinding as they go into the corner. The question is, who's going to be victorious? Kane Alexander is holding on to the position just enough. Hits the brakes, down the gearbox, 5th, 4th, 3rd, into 2nd, but he has held on to it. Sensational move there. Sensational move from Aaron Large to hold off from the ever-charging Kane Alexander. These two have been locked together like glue for the entire race. Sensational stuff. But we leave that. Mike Bullen now has passed T-Joke. He was past T-Joke, but T-Joke is now past Bullen. Bullen, this is it. We're going to try and stick with this battle. Aaron is trying to pass Butcher. Butcher is holding on to that position. These three are still fighting. We will stick with one of the battles. I will keep you updated on the board as I see it. Poddy Flack is miles behind. I think his car is broken. And that's how it is. Kane Alexander, there he is in the 68. He's going to have to really force the issue. What he needs to do is get a good drive coming out of the hairpin and hang on to the back of Aaron. Butcher in the car in front as we ride from the rear view camera now of Butcher. That's Butcher. That's not Butcher. That's Markham. This is Butcher. Here he is. He's in 8th position. Right behind that in 9th. That's the 32 of the yellow DHL. Look at Aaron. He's all over the rear end. He can sense the position, but he's only got 34 seconds. He's got less than a lap to do this. The question is, can he do it enough? Can he deliver this? We will be here to find out in the next roughly minute. Right-hander into the hairpin, down the gearbox, 5th, 4th, 3rd, into 2nd, holds it nice and easy, 20 kilometres out of the hairpin we go. Now we're building up the speed. This is where that Audi at the front is absolutely under attack from the lighter, no ballast 32. Kane Alexander, I think, is too far behind. He hasn't been able to get the car driven and out of the corner quick enough. He just needs to hold it nice and tight. This is going to be a three-way battle into the final 2, 3, 4, 5 corners through the left hand. This is it. This is where, riding on now, the rear wing from Butcher. Aaron needs to be right up his rear wing. He needs to be so close he can sense the paint through the right side. He's gone to the wrong side. That's the wrong side to do this. He needs to be on the other side. Butcher knows this. Unless he forces Butcher. Butcher gives him a love tap into the corner. That's going to allow Kane Alexander to get past. Kane Alexander now just has to do late braking. Be confident. Hits the brakes. Sensational stuff. Into 9th he goes. Through the left side. I know he'll be absolutely ecstatic. Confidence. Through the right side onto the final corners. Clough has won it. I've completely forgotten about him. He won it again. There we go. As he crosses the line, Butcher, sensational drive to hold on to 8th position. Kane Alexander holds on to 9th. Large holds on to 10th. Deeks is 11th. Hogg is 12th. Flack is 13th. I don't know what's happened with him. Neil had a VR failure and I need to sit down after that. Sensational stuff. So your race winner, when it comes up on the board, is waiting. I think we're waiting for Poddy to cross the line. So I'm not sure what's happened to Poddy. He's really suffered in that. He's broken the car. The car is broken again. because it's not revving up. So either the computer's broken or the car's broken. It's going to be one of those two. So your confirmation, which will come through. Clough is race winner. Nick Papadim, sensational drive from Papadim, into second. T-Joke is in third. Bullen's in fourth. George is in fifth. Ashbourne is in sixth. Markham is in seventh. He started sixth. Those two have just swapped positions. Butcher holds on to a solid eighth. Alexander holds on to ninth. Large is 10th. Deeks is 11th. Hogg brings the car home in 12th. I know he'll be happy with that because he was off pace and now he's in the 2:14s. And I've got a cold. And Neil had a VR failure, so he finishes last. And that's going to be a whole host of points that he will have missed out on, which is a shame, but unfortunately that's racing sometimes. It doesn't always go your way. But we do run drop scores, and because we run the drop scores, I think he will take solace in the note that he has. I think he's... Oh no, he missed one. He missed a round. So yeah, he's really now, Neil's really going to have to start thinking about towards the tail end of the championship. Does he go for race wins or does he go for the Dugdale Trophy? So it gets into a real different thing of what you're going to do. So there is confirmation of the drivers. Clough, Papadim, T-Joke, top three. Bullen, George, Ashbourne, Markham, Butcher, Alexander. Well, I'm really proud for Alexander. Really, really proud for him, actually. I know he's had his troubles, and that was a sensational, opportunistic move. Large is in 10th, Deeks is in 11th, Hogg is in 12th, Flack is in 13th, which is very peculiar, and Neely is in a DNF. Fastest lap was Clough, and race winner was Mr. Clough as well. So that is the second race over. We are going to go to the driver commentary box. We have to press all the buttons because we are live. We do not do this recorded. It is a live system. There is only one of me, unfortunately. So I press the buttons live as you see them, and I've gone into the wrong screen. Right, we're going to go into the live stream box. I think I've pressed all the right buttons. We're going to jump in here. In here, we've got Simon and we've got Mr. Mike Bullen. We've got 6 minutes to go before we start the race, which is fair enough. I think I'm in the right one. I'm probably in the right one. I'm not sure. Right, Simon, can you hear me or are you still on mute?
Are you talking to me or Mike? Sorry, I only heard.
I was talking to you. I was talking to you. I'll get in trouble now.
Okay.
Right. Sorry about that. So, race 2. That looked very eventful again, but again, from what you were saying in terms of it's not a track that you've particularly practiced, it's not one you particularly enjoy. I mean,
No.
Another solid result. Started 7th, I believe, finished 6th. So still a good position.
I think Stu dropped out before the race started, so it got me a place because I was 8th. And then Azza had a bit of a moment in the Degners, put himself in the gravel. And I gained a place then, but once he'd broken the toe, I was struggling to catch up with him anyway. So it was relatively uneventful after the last race, but still managed to get myself a few slowdowns to keep myself busy.
It looks like it's a very, very tricky in terms of the margin, because obviously the game itself, some of the corners are are more lenient than other corners, is the way I would describe it. They don't tell you; they just, I think it's how it's programmed. Which corner are you finding particularly difficult then, or which one is it the same corner catching you out every time, or is it a case of it's just little mistakes creeping in, and those little mistakes are then a result of that is the slowdowns?
Can I tell you after the last race so people don't know where my weakness is?
Yes. Okay. I will tell you. Good way to go.
But it is the same place every lap. I'm having real problems with lockups into certain corners, but okay. I'll tell you about that later.
I'll tell you after the race. Well, I'm going to let you go, and I'm going to pop over to Mike, and we'll have a nice discussion after the race.
Yeah, good luck in the last race, Mike.
Good luck in race.
You too, mate. You too.
Right, we're going to pop over to Mike Bullen. He's, like I said, he's driving the 88 Honda. He started in 3rd, finished 4th. Nick Papadim, like I said, just turned up to the show. He's slowly been progressing through the field. Mike, it looked like with 2 minutes to go, it looked like you went through 3 different phases of that race. At the opening stint of the race, it looked like you were struggling a bit. And then second phase of the race, it looked like you really started to find your stride. And the third phase, you looked like you were on fire. Is that what you felt, or was it a case of you were just defending, settled down, and then just got on with it, or was it something completely different?
Pretty close. I mean, the initial phase of the race was just a little bit shaky. A couple of little mistakes of what let Papperton past. So I was a bit frustrated, but then I just stuck with them. And as they were battling, I was following them. And at the end, I was really in the groove in the battle, really enjoying it. I think I was better than SUZUKA, but not better, sorry, that sounds wrong. Faster. He's got ballast on board, obviously, but I think I was faster in that final phase of the race, but I just didn't have enough to make a move stick. But also, he was pinging at 512 at points, so there were points where he was inside me.
Yeah, we saw that.
He was up in the sky. He was out in the. He was all over the place, so I couldn't battle him because I didn't know where he was. Yeah,
we saw that on stream. He was bouncing around a lot. And as I explained on stream, obviously it's a paid-for server. We don't use that. I think it's SimGP, so it's a top-level server with ping rates of 8. So
everyone else's ping rates are somewhere between 8 and 15. I think it's just something with his internet connection. Unfortunately, it hovers around 40, but then you get these spikes then where it's in the 500s, and obviously it's just impossible to race it. Not his fault, and I'm not pointing blame. It's just one of those things. But of course, it was almost impossible to battle him because I didn't know where he actually was. So I just sort of held station really, and just not to cause an accident.
But again, I mean, it's when we looked at, obviously with a short time to go, when we looked at that opening phase when George was really pressurising you, and I thought, oh, this is an opportunity. It just seemed that seemed to settle you, and then after about 2 or 3 minutes, you just seemed to drive on. Did you feel that you were overdriving the car because of the pressure from George, or was it a case of, look, a couple of silly moves, just settle down, and I know I can drive the track?
It was more looking forward, really. The pressure was coming from looking forward and really trying to attack, and then making mistakes because you're just trying to take that corner that little bit faster.
Yeah.
You're trying to brake a little bit later, so that's where the mistakes were coming in. So it was more the chase than being chased. And I knew as quick as George is, his tyres I knew would fall off because he's got 92 kilograms on board. So I knew I would have that advantage towards the end. So,
well, it's going to be very exciting with 10 seconds to go. No doubt I'll probably talk to you after the race. Good luck. It'll be an interesting third race, I'll be honest. But yeah, very, very good luck. And I'll talk to you after.
Cheers, mate. Thank you.
Cheers. Bye-bye. So it's going to be a very, very exciting. It's going to be an exceptional third race, I think, in what we're seeing. We're going to go back over to the live stream, and I've got to find out what I did with my camera equipment. There we go. Right, we've got now a minute before we start. And it is going to be exciting. 15-minute race. This is a reverse grid based off race 1. I'd like to do a shout out to someone called Marcus Underwood. I actually work with the gentleman. He watches this during the gym. So I'm going to give him a shout out. So when he does watch it, he'll come over to my desk and it'll be quite funny. I'd also like to give a shout out to Tony Tamiya Parts as well. They are a sensational parts supplier. They're the UK's leading supplier of parts of Tamiya in the UK. We get an exclusive discount on parts and on hop-ups and spares, not on the kits. But here we go. Final race of the season, race of the day. Craig Dickey's leading, body by Poddy Flack, Hogg, Alexander Large, Butcher Ashbourne, Papadim, Markham, Neil, George, Bullen, T-Joke and Clough. Lights will go out. We will go racing. Last of the day, and it's away we go. And who has had a fantastic start? Craig has bogged down off the line. Surely Poddy Flat's going to be able to deliver this as they all stream into the first corner. Hogg is on the outside. He's just pulled over. Hogg has pulled over not to be a blockage. Anywhere he needs to be. Kane Alexander is up the inside. Side by side there with Poddy Flack. In the background, Nick Papadim is off the road. How far is he off the road? So much so that he's now at the back of the grid. But this is where he really excels. Has he damaged the car? Has he got damage to the vehicle, or is he just settling himself down? We'll find out later in the race. Craig Deek is now sailing away at the front. There he is. He's really got to give it, wind up the cause, because he has one of the best defenders in the league right behind him. There he is, Poddy Flack in the number 11. 2 really bad races. He now has a sensational opportunity to take the race victory. As we ride from the rear view camera, he's in second place. He's all over the road. Kane Alexander in that 68 is in third. Behind that is Aaron Large. He's the bright yellow DHL as they all squabble in the background. Cloughy is trying to get past George. There is George. He's the right side, the 96. Can he do it? He's not going to give up this place. He's not just going to let him walk into it. That's the key. The problem that a lot of these drivers will have, as you can see there, Markham just ahead. He's really getting hounded from the man behind, and that man behind would be T-Joke. There he is. He's in 10th position. T-Joke is in 10th position, and I've had a full shutdown of my whole program. I will try and keep up as the action happens. You can see in the front, they're all really squabbling. Aaron now is the absolute cork in this huge bottle. Right behind that, you can see the 2 other drivers. Well, you could, but you can't now. That would be Neil. Neil is trying to get past. He's trying to do all he can do. As they come out from the trees, are they going to be able to do this? Are they going to be able to hold on to that position? It's all going to be right till the end. You can see there, T-Joke is absolutely attacking. He's going to go around the outside. One of the cars has gone wide. Is that Flack? Flack has gone into a whole different section of the world. Yes, he has. Poddy Flack. No, he hasn't. It was Kane Alexander. Was it Kane Alexander? No, it was Poddy Flack. Poddy Flack has managed to hold on to the position, but just enough. That's a sensational drive from the man behind. You can see in the background Ashbourne now attacking Butcher. There is Ashbourne. He's the 19 Hyundai. Just ahead of him is the Audi. Germany versus Korea versus Japan versus China. It's an international raid battle of the wits and the machinery. Who is going to be king of the hill? Who is going to take it? We've got 12 minutes 14 to find out. Rejoining the race now, there is Large is right behind Flack, right just ahead of Flack is Kane Alexander. This is a great opportunity for Kane Alexander. He is absolutely setting my timing boards alight. No disqualifications. He's got no invalid laps. We've only had 1 lap and his isn't invalid. He's going to have a prime time opportunity here. But once again, T-Joke is the huge cork in this bottle. There is T-Joke. He's in the number 55 as we ride from the rear view camera now. There he is. He's in 10th position. There is Nick Papadim in the 34. He always finds himself in a little bit of an excursion in the opening lap, but then he absolutely launches the car. He's surely going to get past Michael. Yeah, Nick Papadim has got up the inside. He's going to be on the outside going to the next 2 corners. This is not the ideal opportunity for him. One of them is going to have to yield going into the hairpin. Who's it going to be? Who is going to be the one who's going to let go? Is Nick going to get the car stopped? Down the Gobex. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Holds onto it just a little bit. Back up a little bit through the left side. And T-Joke hasn't given it off. He's given him a little bit of a love tap in there, using his points to make prizes. But they are still side by side as they come now into 130R. They're going to have to be. No, he's managed to sort himself out. Sensational move there from Nick Papadim. Brilliant stuff. Right behind that, Clough is it's all over the road. That was a brown trouser moment if I've ever seen one. He's going to need some new underwear after that. Through the right-hander he go into the chicane. Left, right, down into the left side. This brings us back onto the start-finish straight as we go down into the hill. They're all chasing each other, all squabbling. Riding now with Aaron in 4th position. He's going to attack Poddy Flack. The question is, where's he going to do it? Poddy is going to park the car in the middle of the road, leave him 1 car's width, which is in the regulation, and push him out to the wide. Kane is going to have to think The man in the 32, Aaron Large, not Poddy Flack, he's in the cyan Volvo. This man right behind there, that number 32, bright yellow DHL Audi. He's going to have to think of something very clever to get past this man. He's a wily old fox. You can see Clough now trying to go round the outside of Markham. He has no ballast. This is ballast versus ballast. Ballast versus no ballast. And as a result, sometimes the words that are connected in my brain are not connected to my mouth. Sorry about that, but that's the way it goes. Through with 9 minutes 40 remaining, 1/3 gone, 2/3 to go. Where is Neil? Neil is down in 13th position. He's not really making any progress from there. That's a bit surprising, but we see now Large is, he still hasn't done it. As you can see, Nick Papadim in the background is now joined his old buddy Cloughy. Question is, are they going to do anything from here? He's just slowing it down. Flack is doing ace. Flack is a massive cork in this bottle. This lot are all squabbling with each other. Oh, Nick Papadim there gets a little bit of a love tap from George, but it's what it is. They've sorted themselves out. Now, as we ride from the rear view camera, there's Cloughy. I was going to do that. Cloughy is in the number 12. He's going to attempt to go around the outside. Has he outbraked himself? He sends it off into the distance. So does Mike. So does Ashbourne. And as a result, they're all squabbling with each other. Ashbourne's off again. He's going to lose so much speed. The question is, how many positions does he lose here? He's going to lose 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. He's lost 2 for now. Is he going to lose a third? Is T-Joke going to lose it as well? There is T-Joke, the 55. He's running all over the road. There he is in the front. You can see now there is a battle for the lead. I am watching the battle for the lead. Also, while we're watching this, as Cloughy tries to send it up the inside of Aaron. Aaron's not going to give that position up. Aaron's just going to come back on and give a little tap as they're all trying to squabble themselves out. It's a little bit of a elbows out third race as they're all squabbling with each other. At the front, Kane Alexander now is right on the back of Craig Deeks. This is the battle for the lead. There is a battle for 5th and a battle for 9th. I'm trying to keep up with all of them. The battle for the lead. So in first position is Craig Deek, this man here. In second position is Kane Alexander. They're 2.4 seconds ahead of Aaron, who has finally got past Butcher. He is now... Where's Fleck gone? What happened to Poddy? Well, Poddy Flack is now down in 6th position. I didn't see that on screen, but he's gone down to 6th position. Butcher is in 4th position now. So he has must have been some form of contact or something. So those two sorted themselves out. Bullen is now into 5th position. Clough has regained the position. So Clough is now down in 6th. Poddy is going backwards fast. Something must be wrong again in that car. He's either broken it in the same place or he's got an engine issue because he's just going backwards and backwards. He was in 3rd, really fighting for that lead. Nick Papadim is at the back as well. Same as Stu Neal. I'm not sure if Neil has got issues. Speedy Gone Hog is into 12, and he's sticking at the back. Speedy Gone Hog, he's staying out of the way of everybody. That's what we saw on the opening lap. He pulled over to the left, let everybody go through, and he says, I'm just going to sit at the back. Nick Papadim has just got loads and loads of slowdown. Bullen is really pushing the wheels of that car now. He's into 5th. He should get 4th. The lead battle is still raging on. Trying to keep up, so we are just going to have a quick recap. In the lead at the moment, it's Craig Deek, followed by Kane Alexander. Aaron Large, yellow DHL car, is in 3rd. We leave the best. So this is the lead battle. In first position is Craig Deek. He is on the left side, the 82. Kane Alexander is in the 68. He is in that car right there. Kane Alexander, as we ride on board now with Craig Deek, you can see the rear view camera just above there. He's got nothing but a bright blue cyan all over him. The question is he going to do it? Is he going to be able to deliver it from here? Is Craig Deek going to get his first win of the season? Butcher and Bullen are fighting each other. So Bullen is in the 88, Butcher's in the 23, and in the 12 is Michael Clough. He's with 5 minutes 45 going. Clough, he's T-Joke's all over the road in the background. He's in that 55 holding onto it. They're all really squabbling. But the problem is with the reverse grid and the ballast, it means that they're all basically out of contention. Cloughy there, he's not going to go anywhere up that road. He's going to have to be really careful. Clough is trying. He's then going to fall into the clutches of TJ because he'll have lost all that speed. That's the problem that he now has. That is the number 12, that is Michael Clough. Just ahead of him is Bullen, ahead of him is Butcher, and Butcher is the massive cork in the bottle. There he is in the 23. As you can see from his rear view camera here, right behind that in 5th is the 88. Then you've got 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th and 13th. The only person we haven't got in here is Neil. I'm not sure what, he might have broken something all the way at the back. He's not going to be able to get past here. This is very, very tricky. Craig Deeks is doing a solid lead at the front. He's 4/10. He's just got to be careful in that middle sector, going into sector 3. That's where he loses it. But we're staying with this battle at the moment as we ride on board now with Bullen. He's attacking the car in front and defending from the car behind on the grass. He needs to be careful. He needs to lip it up the inside here. Keep it nice and tidy. No heroics. But oh, he's gone wide. Cloughy's managed to get up the inside. That's forced Bullen wide onto the road. T-Joke is then going to come up the inside as well. There's a little bit of a tap between those two. Bullen isn't going to let this go. One of them is going to have to yield going into 130R, because if they don't, they're both going to go in one direction, and that's out into the countryside. Through the left-hander, T-Joke there thinking better of it. No, he hasn't. Bullen has just held it. He's kept his foot planted. There's contact. There's contact. He slides the car. Has he managed to stop it? Does he hit the boundary? No. No, he doesn't. Sensational car control there from Mike Bullen. He was driving the wheels off that car, but how far has he gone down now? He's gone down to 12th position. Absolutely sensational stuff, but we're now joining the battle for the lead. So in the lead is Craig Deeks. In second position is Kane Alexander. Craig Deeks does not have a victory in this league, and I don't think Kane Alexander does as well. So both of them really, really want this position. We're keeping an eye on the back of the board. Nick Papadim has gone back. Stevie Hobbs gone back as well. He's joined Neil. I think he's gone off the road. Ashbourne is in the middle of a cluster of cars. These lot have all been squabbling for the whole day, and the problem is, if you let just one car go through, the entire field tends to go through as well. But there is one staple. Butcher is still in the lead in terms of in 4th position. He's the one person blocking everybody. 2 minutes 25. Craig's bounced it over the curbs, and Kane Alexander followed him. First and second followed each other, and as a result, look at Aaron. Aaron in the DHL. He's popped up and said, "There, lads, that's for me." There's a more change in the background. Butcher has now defending from T-Joke, so the T-Joke is in the 55. He's the car behind. He is now defending from him, whereas Clough has ended up at the back of the grid, so I think he's had an excursion off the road. Bullen is back up to 10th. I can't keep up with the boards here. 4th, so this is the battle for 4th, who is basically the battle for the entire field. In 4th position is Russ Butcher. In 5th position is T-Joke. In 6th position is Flack, who was into 2nd, who then went down to last. So they're up and down the league. Ashbourne is in 7th, Markham is in 8th, and George is all the way down in 8th position. I think Mike Bullen has either had damage to the car or he's had a retirement. Kane Alexander, there he is in 2nd position. He's absolutely driving the wheels off this car at the moment. The question is, will be one more lap to go. Oh, Craig's outbraked himself! Craig has outbraked himself into the final chicane. He's gone from 1st to 3rd. Kane Alexander is going to be in the lead for the last lap of the race, but he has a very fast moving Aaron Large in the 32 right on his rear end. It is going to be a battle, three-way battle for the lead. I'm going to leave the other battle and stay for the fight. On the left side, in the 1st position, is Kane Alexander in that cyan Volvo, which is technically a Lincoln coat. Right behind that is the bright yellow car of DHL man Aaron. And in 3rd is Craig Deek, who was leading the race for the entire race, except for the bit that he wasn't. And that's why on lap 7, the last lap of the race, he's in 3rd. I cannot believe what's happened to him. Through the right-hander we go, through the S's. It's going to be so close in terms of where they finish. Through the left-hand side, up over the crest of the hill now. Kane Alexander will be doing everything he can to hold on to that position. He will be absolutely ecstatic but equally nervous. He's looking for that first victory. It drops him out of the Dugdale Trophy though. That's the problem he's going to have. He's really going to be careful. Does he do it? Does he go? He's run wide. He's run wide into the corner. The question is, has that given him a slowdown penalty? Is that going to compromise him? No, it hasn't. He's going to have to shave it off fast if he's got anything through the left-hander. He's got a little bit slower through this corner, which means he's had a penalty. And that penalty is going to compromise him. As we ride from the rear view camera, in the background, they're still all squabbling with each other. From first to 13th, are all separated by less than 10 seconds. Absolutely magnetic stuff through the left-hander. He's got less than half a racetrack to go. The question is, can Kane Alexander take this? This is where Aaron has been absolutely mighty in the Audi. It's Audi, Germany versus China versus Korea. Three-way battle of the Titans. The question is, who is going to be victorious? Who is going to take it into 130R? We go. Everybody holds on to their horses. The back are all squabbling, but we're staying with the lead battle for the last range. He's done it. He's bailed. He's bailed. Aaron has bailed. He's bailed at the background. He's just let it go. T-Joker's run wide. Butcher will hold on to that. He's got one less than one corner to go. All he has to do is cross the line. All he has to do is not get a slowdown penalty and just not have a disconnect. He's going to take, I believe, his first race victory of the league. Sensational driving. Second place goes to Aaron. Third goes to Deeks. Fourth goes to T-Joke. Ashbourne is in fifth. Flack is in sixth. I'm not sure what happened with him. I'm really not. He's been up and down the whole race. Butcher's had a DNF. I'm not sure why he's had a DNF. And Bullen unfortunately had a disqualification. He had gone off the track. I do feel for him. But there it is. Alexander, Large, Deeks, Copes, followed by Ashbourne, followed by Flack. Markham is 7th. Papadim is 8th. George is 9th. Neil is 10th. Hogg is 11th. Clough is 12th. Butcher is 13, he had a DNF, not sure what happened there. And last for disqualification was Mike Bullen. But he did go off a couple of times, and that's the hardest thing with this type of racing, is that the penalty point system, it is very, very strict. I'm not sure why I hit that button, but it is a live commentary. Back over to the last combox of the evening, but that's the problem with the points. Well, it's not the problem, but that's the point system. Is that if you run off the road in the point system, it basically really hinders you, and you can rack up a multitude of points. But do you know what? He was on form. Bullen was absolutely on form in that race too. He was absolutely on it, which is absolutely sensational. So we got a couple of drivers in. This will be the point where I tag it in YouTube, where you can just join us for the driver interview, or you can end it here. I do always recommend listening to the drivers' interviews. It's I love it. Fantastic. So we got 3 drivers with us at the moment. More might join. We're going to start off with Simon Ashbourne to begin with. Then we'll go to Mike Bullen, and then we'll talk to Butcher at the end. So start off with Simon first. Simon, can you hear me?
I can. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Right, back to the question after race 2. That's the question I want to know. In terms of, is it the same corner or multitudes of corners?
Same corner, breaking into the hairpin and getting the traction out. Absolute nightmare every lap.
I mean, it looks a very, very tricky hairpin, and I have the feeling that would be where you could make or break the lap.
Especially with Azza and Mike in the Hondas, they on the exit they were just leaving me for dead. Absolutely leaving me for dead because I just couldn't get the traction out of the corner.
I mean, but overall, like you said, it's a track that it's a track you don't really enjoy, to be perfectly honest.
No.
But
no.
I mean, it's a good haul of points, a good solid haul of points for you. And I presume it's that whole thing of we just get it done and get across to the next one, which obviously is going to be Silverstone, I believe. I think it's
jolly good.
Silverstone.
Bit of a photo finish there at the end with the Poddy in that last race.
Do you know what? I didn't see it. I was too busy watching the front. I will be honest.
You couldn't get a piece of paper between us because he got the inside line out of the last corner, and I could see him out of my side window, and it said I got a 5th, but it was so tight, so close.
It looked,
and unfortunately, I don't have the replay because the game crashed as I crossed the line.
I might have the replay. I'd have to check. I don't think mine crashed, but I don't know. It's a bit weird. It always seems to crash on game 3, but it is what it is. It's one of those things. But I mean, you must be you must be happy that you're over that track. You're like, right, out of that one now. So Silverstone, are you looking forward to Silverstone, or is it a case of I'll just go drive around it, see what happens?
Well, I can't remember the last time I drove it, so I have to wait and see how the Elantra goes on there. I was a bit disappointed. I was a bit disappointed in race 3 because Mike was coming up behind me, and crew chief said, "Don't let him distract you," and that's exactly what I did. To spoon, outbrake myself, end up almost in the barrier on the outside. I was that wide, and about 3 places lost.
To
it was
be honest,
awful.
I don't think crew chief is the most useful. It's useful, but he's not the most useful person when you don't want to be distracted.
Well, I know I got it wrong because he started swearing at me after that. So
brilliant, absolutely sensational. Well, as always, it's been an absolute pleasure talking to you. Great racing from what I saw. Again,
great racing with Aaron and Mike and Russ tonight. Been really, really good. I've enjoyed it.
But yeah, well, brilliant. Well, thank you very much as always for joining us for the things. And yeah, no doubt I'll end up talking to you through the week on the chats, and I'll no doubt talk to you next week.
Always a pleasure, Andy.
Always a pleasure. Cheers. So that was Simon. 3 good results for him in terms of the championship this season. It was that we saw it though when he outbraked himself, and off to the hairpin he disappeared. It can always be one corner or many corners. It's one of those things. Unfortunately, it looks a very simple track, but you have to have pinpoint accuracy, and it's very unforgiving. We're going to go across to Mike Bullen next. He had a 3rd in race 1, he had a 4th in race 2, and a disqualification in race 3. Again, he was in the middle of the pack for race 3. And it looked hectic. Mike, can you hear me?
Yeah, I got you, mate.
Right. So in terms of that race, obviously race 1 and 2, great results. Race 3, take us through race 3. That just looked hectic from my position. And it looked like at certain points you were, please correct me if I'm wrong, it looked like you were overdriving the car.
I disagree with that. I don't think I was overdriving as much as just trying to be aggressive because it's so hard to overtake. Firstly, I'd like to apologise to Russ for the contact into 130R. I thought I had a run. I didn't. So apologies for that. Not malicious in any way. Just I thought I had to move on. I didn't. So I backed out and let him go, and then tried to attack him again further on. But it was just a messy race. I had loads of contact from behind as I was battling through. Aaron was deployed as my tactical teammate to give me some protection, which was great. So he was battling away behind me to give me that bit of protection. I was battling away with Russ and Aaron, and they were battling for the win then towards the end. So I mean, I can see that, and I'm like, do you know what? I'm almost there, sort of thing. And basically, my race got ruined when, and again, this isn't Cluffy's fault as such, but Cluffy went really wide through 130R and lost the back end. And because I was following him through, I had to go right out off the track and around him to avoid hitting him. And as I came back onto the circuit, he hit me. And that's when I went through the bollards at the chicane, the famous.
And is that what caused the DISQ then?
That wasn't the final one, no. But I mean, that was going off track again, contact twice in a matter of 2 corners. So that was 12, 15 points just in 30 seconds. I'd been hit from behind 3 or 4 times before that, and then basically I was battling. Papadin hit me from behind then about a lap later, and then I made contact with George. I was trying to overtake him, and we just door banged through Spoon, and it disqualified me. So it's my first ever disqualification.
Yes, it is actually. Yeah, in 3 seasons, that's the first time you've ever been disqualified.
Yeah, I'm really disappointed. Yes, 8 of those points were definitely my fault. So, I've got to take it on the chin. It's not like they were all the cause of other people. But, yeah, just disappointed.
It's one of those.
after.
I think it's one of those things.
I think I could. I think I definitely would have been on the podium. I had the pace. I was definitely battling with those guys. But, yeah, it was just hectic. I think, as you said, is the right word, which is which is a shame. But
it was that middle field. That middle field was very, very hectic, and it was. I mean, it's the way that the ballast is designed. It works. That's what it's there for. But you had two huge blockers, is the way I would describe it.
Yeah.
Poddy being one, and then obviously Butcher carrying the ballast on the second. And they're
absolutely.
so good at defending, that you could see. I mean, if you watch the stream back, you could literally count from, I think it was from 4th all the way back to 12th, which it's sensational from a viewer point of view. I think that's absolutely magnetic. But it's one of those things. I mean, statistically speaking, at some point, disqualification, it happens. I mean, I feel your pain. It's disappointing. But it's statistics. At the end
I'm disappointed because I was enjoying the battle, and it was a really good battle. I like I say, I did get it a little bit wrong with Russ, but I think after I tucked back in, we could have had a good battle right to the end with me, him, and Aaron. But unfortunately, it just wasn't meant to be. But like I say, it was Cluffy's accident basically. And again, I'm not blaming it; it's not his fault, but. It was that accident basically that finished my race, because then I was basically plumb last, and then and then I had so many points it was just game over. But yeah, just one of those weeks, unfortunately. Great race 1 and race 2 though. Really enjoyed it. It's just
well, it's another good haul of points, because the two at the top of the Dugdale Trophy, Neil had a game crash. His virtual reality crashed in 2, and in 3, I think he finished last. Or what?
No, I was last.
Russ was last. Then it was you, and then I think there was one more. So it's really going to mix it up. I think you're actually going to end up going further up the positions.
Yeah,
it's going to be interesting.
I mean, the main thing is that me and Aaron are really in the hunt for the team's trophy this year.
Oh,
so
yes.
yeah, I really wanted to pick up the points for that. But like I say, it is what it is. Having missed the first 2 rounds, obviously, because I was in the comms box, I can't really afford to lose too many points.
Yes.
I haven't got a drop score, really, because I've got 2 rounds of 0. So, so it was just making up for lost time. And yeah, I mean, maybe you're right. Maybe I did overdrive a little bit with that in mind. But overall, like I say, first 2 races were great. And it's just disappointing that a lot of that race 3 wasn't my fault, but the 2 big incidents were particularly the one with Russ. So I got to take it on the chin and learn.
It's one of those things, isn't it, that we always talk about time and time again. It's that line, isn't it? Is that if you become disqualified, it's looking at it objectively and going from that. I mean, the other positive of it as well is that Kane Alexander won race 3, which means that he's no longer in the Dugdale Trophy. So it's gonna become. I think that the contention that you're now in with the Dugdale Trophy, I think is gonna really play. I think it's going to be really exciting, because I do think you're going to be in the opportunity at some point for a race win, and I think then it's really going to be down to a decision of, do you win the race or not win the race to take the Dugdale Trophy.
I'd rather do the teams with Aaron than take the Dugdale. I'd love to win a trophy. I've come second in so many championships.
Yes, I've commentated.
I would love to win one, but I would very much more enjoy winning the teams one with Aaron, if possible. We've got a strong team now. A couple of races left. I think we got a good shout at that.
Well, I think you're in
boy.
I think you're in a very strong position, if I'm honest. But it was lovely talking to you, as always. It's lovely getting the insight. Final note, as always. Final note, obviously, looking forward to next week at Silverstone. You've always done quite well at Silverstone. Have I seen you racing the Honda there? No. I've never seen you race the Honda there, I don't think.
No, I don't think we've run it, have we? On
yes,
race
we have.
3.
We ran it in season 1. We ran it in season
yeah,
1. We ran the international track in season 1,
that's right.
and it was you, Chris, and the gentleman I've forgotten who won it. I've forgotten his name. And
It was Jensen, wasn't it?
That was it, Jensen. And you three were fighting each other, and Chris broke his suspension. Yeah,
That's
you
right.
go well there. Actually, you go very well there. Actually, thinking now back to that, I had to cast my mind back to that. But yeah, you go well there. So I've got a lot of hope for you there. Actually.
Yeah, it's a nice circuit. Should suit the car. I'm not going to be carrying ballast, so I should be in a reasonable position. But until Cluffy gets some ballast on board, he's unbeatable at the moment. Obviously, because he missed 2 rounds, he hasn't got any ballast,
Yes.
and he's just in another league at the moment. The guy is just so fast. So, but yeah, are we running Grand Prix or International next week? International. I'll set the practice server up now, and then it's done.
No worries.
But yeah, looking forward to it. I think it'll be good close racing there. If we can have 10, 11 cars nose to tail, it'll make for entertaining.
Oh, it will. It will. Well, lovely chatting to you as always, Mike. Absolutely fantastic. And enjoy the rest of your evening.
Yeah, thanks, mate.
Lovely. We're going to go across to Russ now, and then we'll go to Aaron to finish off with. Russ, can you hear me?
Hello, mate. You all right?
Yeah, not too bad, not too bad. 2 great races, as always, like we said. The ballast, that ballast tonight, though, was a killer.
It was a killer.
Great defending in racing 1 and 2 and 3. And I've got to ask the question, obviously, what happened in race 3? Because on the board it came up as a DNF.
I defended the whole race. I think there was only one move that's a bit questionable with Cloughy into the first right-hander after you've gone up the hill from sector 1.
Right.
I thought he'd backed out because it said that I was clear on the left. So I moved slightly left to get a little bit of an entrance into that right-hander. But apparently, from the chat, he was still there. So apologies to him for that. But the rest of it, I thought I defended really, really well. And then just coming up to the last chicane, Joke ran a bit wide. Through 130R or whatever it is, a really fast left-hander.
Yes.
And I just had a quick look in the mirror to see where he was going, and his line looked a bit funny, so I looked for a little bit too long. Missed the braking point slightly, locked it up, ran deep, overcompensated on the turn on the way back in, and yeah, just got completely all over the place and ended up wiping it out on the wall. So not the greatest finish, but
but on the positive, as I always say, ballast. I think the ballast will come. You'll have a reduction in ballast.
Yeah, hopefully it'll be nice. It'll be nice to run it without some ballast on. I've run it with ballast. I've run it with the 3 top ballasts for the last 3 weeks. So
well, to be fair, that's because you're fast. Because you're
fast.
It's one of the.
I had a good round early season, and that seems to be the case last season as well. I had a good round at track 2 or 3 last season, and I got dumped with ballast, and it kind of killed me off a little bit. If I'd have held that 4th place, I'd have been absolutely ecstatic with that.
I mean, it was 3 great races of defending. I mean, in race 3 especially, obviously before, because we didn't see the DNF on stream because we were watching the lead battle. But up until that point, I think of the entire field, everyone had most of the people tried to have a go.
Simon had a go, Mike had a go, Cloughy had a go.
Yeah, everyone had a go.
Everyone had a go, but they obviously didn't watch. They obviously weren't watching the guy in front of them because literally I had drove the same line every lap, and none of them learned where the pace wasn't in the Astra.
I think the trouble they had, rightly so, is that they were defending and attacking.
Yeah, that's the problem. We backed them up so much.
Yeah, so you could. I mean, you had a stellar defence. You could run your lines, knowing that if they went wide and left the door marginally open, someone would go in.
The guy behind's coming through.
The entire field would start to pummel through, and you saw that quite a lot in terms of what you saw. But it was stellar defending at the end of the day. It was absolutely. I thought it was sensational. It was really, really good from what we saw.
Yeah, it's just a shame I ruined it. That was all.
but you know, it's the way it is. Sometimes
It is, yeah.
You know, at the end of the
We'll
day,
take the positives. 5 out of 6. 5 out of 6 laps, or 5 3/4 out of 6 laps. We did a great job.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, it could be worse or not worse, or it could be a bit more. Like Craig had run in first for the entire race,
I know.
except for the
Last corner.
the last chicane. That's where he outbraked himself on the penultimate lap, and they both went through. And then Kane just kept it. He just kept his foot planted and kept the car perfect.
I'm so gutted. I was so gutted for him because that was part of the defence. I really wanted Craig to get a win, and I thought he's got this. I really did think he had it, and he was, like I say, up until the penultimate lap, and then he lost it on the penultimate lap, and I was like, right, okay, Craig's lost the lead. Let's not lose fourth, and then I'll go and chuck fourth away as well.
But you know, that's racing sometimes, though. You know, at the end of the day, it is like we talk about all the time. It's you know, at the end of the day, it's a computer. Nobody's died, which is always good, and you don't have to rebuild the car.
No, yeah,
it is frustrating, you know, because stellar defence. But hopefully you'll have some ballast removed for Silverstone, which is a high-speed track.
Yes.
Which will make that exciting. So forward to Silverstone on the international circuit. There is a corner, I think it's... Oh, what is it? It's into the link. You can break everything on the car. Is that a track that you've run up before? Is it a track you like? Or is it one of these things you just like, just put me in the car and I'm going to drive as best as I can?
We'll give any track a go. It's the same as when it's got the ballast on. I'll give it a good go. And hopefully next week, if I do run with a little bit less ballast, I might have a few more friends at the end of the race. Because I don't think there's going to be many people that want to talk to me tonight.
But you know, at the end of the day, you know, you defended. You're in there for defence. It's the same that any other driver would do. But that's like I've spoken to somebody about this before. That's what the art of the reverse grid has always been. It's to give other people that opportunity to take, because realistically, if it wasn't for the reverse grid and the ballast of the drivers that are placed through it, Kane Alexander or Deeks would never be in that opportunity. I mean, I'm not saying they would. Please don't murder me, you two. First time I've commentated on Kane Alexander, but I think it would be their first real opportunity. And they were absolutely, those three. Any three could have taken it.
Any one of them three could have had it. Yeah,
you know, and that's the point. Ballast. That's what it's designed to do. But equally, you're entitled to defend. So it's part of the fun. It's part of the league. That's the way it is, though. So.
It is. Yeah, I must admit, you know, I enjoyed the first race and the second race, and I really enjoyed race 3. And I'm just annoyed that we cocked it up at the end.
Yeah, but it is one of those things. I think it's just one of those things that it happens. But it was great from our perspective. It was fantastic. So from a viewing perspective, it was great. So
I'll go back and watch it then.
You can tick that box, is what I would do.
As long as you haven't got the bit at the end, I don't mind. I'll pretend that I crossed the line where I finished.
But I'm pretty sure I've saved it. So I'll have
don't do that.
Well, thank you very much as always, Russ, for chatting to us. It's always exciting and interesting. I love it. You know, I love it. So yeah, good luck for next week. And yeah, thank you very much once again for taking the time to talk to us.
No worries, mate.
Cheers.
Thank you. Cheers, pal.
Over to our final driver of the evening, which is Aaron.
Hello.
Nice to see you, Aaron. Aaron was driving the Honda, teammates to Mike Bullen. Race winner, don't forget, he is a race winner. He stole the race winning from his teammate. I'm going to put that in there just to wind him up.
Oof.
But we know each other. You know what I'm like. But again, sensational. It was a sensational defensive drive this evening, is the way I would put that. Let's start at race 3. Because that is the one that's tonight just seems to. It wasn't dirty. It was because it's a very hard track to overtake. There was a cluster of cars from 4th to 12th grouped together. How did you find that? Because you were in the middle of the pack. Would be the way I'd describe it.
Hard, very hard. It was just like it felt like one lap you'd defend your heart out, and in the meantime, there's so much going on in front of you. You're basically having to I found I was having to drive defensively on my peripheral, which probably explains why I looked like I was defending extremely. I just had a little back and forth there with Michael because he was saying like the defense was very borderline, and I knew it was. But like you say, because I'm in the middle, I've got Michael making moves behind me. I've got Mike in front of me coming further and further and further towards me because there's so much happening in front of him. And it was just like this huge bottleneck of cars. Just everyone, there was just cars all over the track, and you're thinking, where do I put this here? I'm trying to defend. I'm trying to give Mike the best chance of getting away from me, whilst trying not to get done by Michael up the inside at Spoon. It was like, what's going on? And I obviously, I imagine you're probably going to touch on this, so I'll beat you to it. But
Oh, thanks.
it was it was very unfortunate the contact that Michael had with me. At first, I was a little bit like, stereotypically, what was that? Blah, blah," like
Yeah.
in the mic on the mic to Mike. But yeah, just speaking with Michael, it seemed like what happened, as you say, because there was a gaggle of cars. I've checked up with my braking to avoid everyone in front, and it's caught Michael out behind me, and he's just braked on the normal zone and clipped me. And he held the place, and I was a bit annoyed, but really, he was going to have that place anyway, and he was definitely more than capable of gapping
Yes.
me. So I wasn't that annoyed. I was actually going to try and follow him through, but obviously it went a little bit different for him.
I'd be right in saying I think this is the first bar Brands, obviously commentating on Brands Indian race. Well, no, because that was spread out a little bit. There was groups of cars. This is, I think, the first time in 3 seasons I've commentated where the entire field, bar obviously Mike and Butcher, finished from first to last. I think they were less than 20 seconds separating everybody. That's how close the field was when they crossed the line. Which usually, I think where we've gone into race 3. Obviously, this is now we're moving away from you and more of a general discussion.
Yeah,
We're now in podcast territory. That's where we are now. I mean, Butcher's more than welcome to join in the podcast for the next
go on,
Is
Russ.
this the
20 minutes.
first go of Paulie's post-its, is it?
Yeah, Paulie's podcast. And I'll tag it. What's the time? 21:56. So, so I think race 3 of all the races I've watched, obviously from last season, and obviously commentating because I've commentated on you for a long time, Aaron, back in the old league as well. This is the first time I've ever commentated on a league where, and I've watched a lot, where the entire field finishes within 20 seconds, and it presents a completely unique challenge because you've got everybody's out of position, everybody has different ballast, everyone has a different tyre, everyone has a different objective because some want to get past, some are defending, some are attacking and defending. So it's created this really unique environment of, I think, very intense racing. Which
Definitely.
Which I don't.
I'll let you finish.
Which I don't think. I mean, obviously I'm commentating, but from a lot of stuff that I've watched, you could be attacking one lap, they'd overtake, then you'd get overtaken, then the next lap you'd overtake them again, and then they'd overtake you, and you'd be like, because on the board, I mean, you couldn't see the board. I wish I could show it. It was mental. The positions were swapping all over the place. And I think that's created, I think it's exciting, but I think it's made it very intense. And I think it's drained a lot of people. And I think it can make tempers flare up. Would I be right in saying that?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Yeah. I think what makes it difficult is, that like the mindset going in is like, I mean, it probably is 80% this anyway in race 1 and race 2. But in race 3, it really does feel like every man for himself.
Yes.
And it's like, if I obviously with the mentality of the reverse grid means that if you're starting last, you're thinking, well, I'm quicker than everyone in front of me.
Yeah.
And if I started P9, so I'm thinking, I'm quicker than the majority of the people in front of me, but there's quicker people behind. And then
So
if
I
you
need
start
to make moves. Just quick.
yeah, and then if you're starting at the front, it's like, well, every single person behind me is faster, so I'm gonna have to park it on the apex. And then, like you say, you get this mixture of of mentality and how everyone's treating the race. It's not just a case of, well, I'm sixth fastest, I'll try and go for fifth. It's suddenly, I'm first fastest and I'm last. I can still win this race.
Yes.
And then it ends up creating like this cocktail of aggressive moves, featuring aggressive defending, featuring a lot of mistakes, which is class to watch. But to actually be part of it in the race, it's almost like
It's very draining.
nightmare fuel. Yeah, it's like you come away from the race 3, and if you've had a shocker, you think, this is terrible. I never want to do it again. I'll spit my dummy out. But if you've had a great race 3, it's like, oh my God, where's that come from? Am I a racing god? It's like, it's just the high and low is like complete. It's complete opposite ends of the spectrum, and I think what we've got is mint. It's just very hard to police and keep it clean, like
Yes.
as clean as race 1 and race 2 are, because it's like race 3 is almost the, I can gain more from this race than I would in race 1 and race 2.
Yeah, if you play your cards right, you can double your money almost over what you can do in race 1 and race 2. Yeah,
because let's say you win race 1 and race 2, then you start last. Theoretically, you should finish maybe 2 or 3 positions higher. But if you put all your cards on the table, finish in P4, really you're almost like doubling the points that you should have. So it feels like a net double gain, which is why I think more people go for it in race 3. It's almost like there's more to gain from doing it than you would in race 1 and race 2.
Yeah, definitely.
But it's one of these things, though. I think it's. I think you're spot on the money there. To be fair, both of you, it's that mentality of, well, I'm at the back, I can win, or I'm in 6th and I can win, or it's the slower people ahead, so I'm definitely faster than them.
Yeah.
But I think and I think rightly saying though, it's very exciting to watch. It's intense to be in. But I think as the field is slowly, because a lot of the drivers now have raced with each other for 3 seasons. Russ, yourself, you joined us last season. You're now racing again, so you get used to people and their styles and how they drive. And because of that, I don't know. It just makes it. I wouldn't call it an explosive cocktail. I think that's the wrong word to use, explosive and cocktail. But that's 2 words. But there we go. But it's exciting to watch. But it's right. It's that policing of it. But it's being hard enough to go, don't do it, but soft enough to go, that's all right. And it's that balance, I think.
It's a very fine line. Like Aaron said, even for me, I've had, what have I had today? I've had a 9th and an 8th or something. I think I've had in the first 2 races. So to start 5th or 6th, wherever I started, and then to be up to 4th by lap 2 or 3, that's a massive points gain for me over, say, Aaron, who was currently before this race meeting started. Aaron was my closest person in the championship, so he's had 2 good first races. So it's on me on the reverse grid to then have a decent finish. So if I finish 4th and Aaron is stuck in the pack and he finishes 10th, I've gained what I've lost, because Aaron had 2, say, a 6th and a 7th, and I had an 8th and a 9th and a 10th or whatever. I've gained points on him just because I didn't have a great first race, but I was able to defend my 4th place that I had in race 3. So it makes, whereas in race 1 or race 2, if I had had Simon up behind me, and I know Simon's quicker, I wouldn't have probably defended that hard in race 1 or race 2. I'd have just gone and let him go, because if in race 1 or race 2, if I over defend, I'm backing him up and I've got 3 or 4 cars on me then. Whereas race 3, it was the same at Brands Hatch. If me and Poddy backed everybody up, everyone is in the same gaggle and everyone's trying to overtake everybody on the same piece of tarmac, it isn't going to work. And it kind of happened again tonight. Everyone got stuck up behind me, and like you say, as soon as someone made a little mistake trying to overtake me, or they missed their braking point and ran a bit wide, boom, 2 cars are down the inside, and they've gone from 5th to 7th.
I think,
And it's a big loss, and it makes for great racing and it makes for great viewing, but for some of the drivers, it's probably not the most enjoyable experience. But at the same time, like you say, I've got 4th place, and you've got to come and take it off me. I'm not just going to hand it over to you, because
yeah, I think
that is my points for tonight, because I've got 80 kilos on board or whatever. That is my chance to get a decent points haul tonight. So I'm going to throw the kitchen sink at it to kind of hold it.
I think that's the thing. I think me and Aaron, we've talked about this in great length about race 3 and the format and how it is, and I know that the admins do as well. And it's a unique concept to reverse the whole grid and add the ballast in, but equally, it's I think the way I describe it, I think rightly so. Someone might shoot my head off here. Is that you have different categories of leagues. So, like, I take Crest Motorsports as an example. They've got over 3,000 members, and they, I would class them at the pro end. I mean, they're sponsored by Max Power Racing, and I think have you raced in that one? I think
I've raced in it.
Yeah.
The racing here, to me personally, is better. It's cleaner. It's fairer. I watched Craig when I got one chance to race with him last season in Crest, and we started this season in Crest together. Last season, there's 2 or 3 cars that it didn't matter whether they reversed the top 10, reversed the top 15 in the sprint races. They could come through the whole pack and win, because they didn't have any ballast system.
Yes.
They had no points penalties. Their instant point limit is 80 points, and only after 80 points does your driving get reviewed. So we had our first race last Thursday, me and Craig. Race 1, I got into 1st place, and the guy behind me just spent 4 laps ramming the back of my car into every corner.
Wow.
And it's not what you want.
Wow.
We've got it good.
Wow, brilliant.
So you've got it really good here. It's great.
But it's like I said, it's that balance. I mean, that's one of the things that we've always said about race 3. It's to give that opportunity for somebody who would never have that opportunity. And I know that sounds very cliche, but I take Luke Dugdale, for example. I remember commentating him, and I mean, I banged the whole. I was so happy, but people say, "Oh, it's only sim racing," but people get a lot of time invested in it, and he was so happy.
Yeah,
he was so proud. He said his mum and dad were proud of him, and I was like,
"That's it."
I was like,
it means a lot.
And that's the thing, and I think that's the thing with race 3. But I do think, it's always going to be. I think race 3 is always going to be that one that has that. It's always going to be the contentious race. I mean, I think it's great. Yeah. I think the format is. I think it's a great format. I think the format we have, because it has everyone to do it. And I always think this is the key to race 3. Because if you watch, I think it's George. He's twigged this now. I think he twigged it after halfway through last season. If you watch him in race 3, he's not overly aggressive. From my viewpoint, I don't drive. What he is he's tactical in race 3. So if he can push, he pushes. If he doesn't push, he just holds the position.
Sits where he is.
He sits where he is. And that's how you win. And I've said it time and time again. I've said it on the championships, on previous races, and I've said it to everybody. If you want to win the championship, tactically sit in race 3. You don't need to win the thing. You just need to get some points. Get 2 good races and sit at the back. But it's a great format. I personally think it's a fantastic format. I think the ballast system is, it's been reduced this season, because it was top 8, now it's top 6, I think.
Yeah,
top 6. But again, I think ballast is one of those contentious issues. It's one of those things. I think when you don't have it, you go, oh, I love the ballast system. The fast guys slow down.
Yeah.
And then when you have it, you go, oh, I hate the ballast system. It's one of those. It's oh, I like it, or I hate it. Oh, I like it, or I hate it. It's all right.
The thing is, it kind of makes you have to learn the other side of driving as well, because it's all right being fast and setting fastest lap and winning races. There's a couple of lads on here that if you didn't put any ballast on, they'd win every race.
Oh, yes.
But there's no fun in it then. Everyone else doesn't turn up just to sit there and watch you win a race. So the ballast system helps them have to learn how to defend as well, and how to carry the ballast and how to be quick with ballast. Shaw's lap time with ballast tonight for qualifying was nearly as good as what I can do without ballast. So how he and TJ managed to do that, I'll never know. I'd love to know, because that's impressive.
They are rapid. They are rapid in those Seats. They are so. But the thing is, though, the Seat as a car, from what I understand of it, it's
a god.
Something like Monza or Silverstone, that car with ballast. Well, I say that. T-Joe bloody blinking went and won Monza, didn't he? But then everybody was fighting in the middle of the pack. They're all, again, race 3, that middle pack was all... I use the word squabble. It's not squabbling. But, you're all fighting each other. So as a result, you're all slow. And then they got away. Anton disappeared at the front, and then T-Joke is just fast. I don't know what it is. They are just rapid in those Seats.
It seems that I think mechanically, the Seat is one of the best cars in the game. It can really aggressively, because what I did for Monza with my ballast being so high, I drove every single car to see where it was strong. And the one thing I noted about the Cupra was how aggressive you could be over the curbs, and couple that with the way it puts its torque down into the 2 front wheels. It seems that it has the most minimal wheel spin with the highest amount of torque output, whilst being very mechanically forgiving to the guy in the car. So Hyundai rapid in a straight line, bit more of a pig in the corner. Cupra seems to get the best of both worlds, but not exactly the fastest thing overall in a straight line. And then the Honda is really agile and unreal on the brakes, but suffers hugely in a straight line. But the Cupra really carries ballast well as well, because of it being mechanically forgiving.
The drive it gets.
And then if you have a Lynk & Co, I ask the server admin to give everyone 150 horsepower, 150% on their horsepower, because it's a Chinese Volvo, and I love my Volvos. No, please don't report me. That's a joke. That's a full-on joke. But yeah, but again, I mean, with that as well, I mean, but they, because I've watched them in other series, you see, and they always have the Cupra, whatever the current year Cupra is, that's the one they drive.
Yeah.
And I think if you stick with the same car, and I'll take you as an example, Russ, with the Audi.
Yeah.
You've stuck with the Audi from day dot. Well, no, you had the Astra to begin with, didn't you?
I did start with the Astra,
Start with the Astra, and then you went to the Audi.
Yeah, I just found a bit more consistency with the Audi, that was all.
You've slowly, through season 2, you just got quicker and quicker and quicker, and now you're at that stage. You're still, you've been in the car for a year. You're now not a year, in a season. You've raced it elsewhere. You're now back in it for this season, and you're going quicker. There's like this. Obviously, eventually, it tolls itself off as you hit the top. But and same for yourself, Aaron, with the Honda. You seem to have found real speed in that. So, would you say that because they've driven those cars forever, that that you're almost fine-tuned to the car? Because you've driven it, you understand it, you know how to work it. So you go, oh, well, that's how I do that. So you learn all the little nuances, I think would be the word I'd use. Mm-hmm. Would you say that was right?
Yeah, I'd agree with you on that. Yeah, definitely.
I feel like when you are sticking with a car, so this season with the Honda, I would like to think that I am 90% on top of it, and the last 10%, as an example, would be what Mike's knowledge is, because he's driven the Honda all the time.
Oh, he's rapid.
So I feel like actually getting to a good level of understanding the car is the easy bit. It's the last like 2-3% of mastering the car that's the difference between a 10th in qualifying, finishing a second and a half away from your teammate in a race. And I think that's what they've both nailed due to the fact that they race more than anyone in a week and they choose the same car all the time.
Yeah, because Clough drives the Lincoln Co, and I only ever see him driving that car. He seems
Apart from last year where he was super quick in an Alfa Romeo.
Okay, except for last year, all right. All right, in other leagues.
Yeah, he only uses that.
Yeah, but I think they picked the Alpha last year because of the tracks we ran, because they were smaller and twistier.
Yeah.
So
So they choose a car based on what tracks they're working on. Yeah,
which is why I know when the tracks are selected for the season, there's a big which is why you always end up with that debate of people go, I don't like this track, and I love this track, and I don't like this track. Is because they're chosen based on.
And now I get why everyone complained when I said we should keep tight tracks because we didn't have the grid sizes that we were after. We wanted.
Because all tracks are chosen. There's a massive mix, so in theory it favours different. Drivers.
Different cars at different tracks. Yeah, that's
because
cool.
Otherwise you end up with a situation where you end up with all quite similar tracks, and everybody goes, everyone goes, oh, I love it, and then people go, I don't like it, and they stop. Whereas you end up with like this, oh, I like this track, I like that, oh, I don't like that track. I mean, you look at Monza. I mean, you could argue it's a classic. It is a classic track, but it's fast, hard braking zones, and then you go to Suzuka, which rewards smooth driving.
Yes,
you've got to be really smooth with the car and move the weight around. And then we're going to be going to Silverstone, which again is a faster track but harder braking zones. But again, you have to have a lot of confidence coming down. Is the Hamilton Straight, isn't it? Is it the Hamilton Straight on the International? And then you turn right and left to go up to Farm.
Yeah, that's right.
And you've got to have utmost confidence that you've got the car perfectly balanced and at the right speed. Otherwise, it's off you go. And I love that, though. I think it brings a different, from a driver's perspective. I think and I think it's not just our league, and I'm not having a go at the drivers. Please don't shoot me. Please don't shoot me. But if you left it up to, you'd go, I'll just pick all my favourite tracks. But to give that spread, it means you end up with people. I mean, you look at. I'll take Mike as an example. Some of the tracks in there he hates. He absolutely hates them. Can't stand them. Other tracks he loves. And you end up with this wicked mix, which creates this massive mix of cool racing, I think. Road America, never driven it. That I do not know.
Awesome track.
So don't quote me on that one.
I hate that track.
But do you like Donington? Do you like Donington?
I love Donington. I love Silverstone. So, yeah, we're evened out, aren't we?
Exactly.
I've only raced Road America once, and it didn't go very well.
I chose Road America because it's more infamously a GT track, and it's a long lap, very long lap. I think IndyCars do it in over a minute and a half, so it's going to be long.
It's over a 2-minute lap, I'm sure.
It's got like a mixture of everything that every single car has on this grid. So it's got 2 big straights, almost 3 big straights. It's got high speed kinks. It's got medium speed corners. It's got a low speed section. So it's almost like a flat Spa, which is why I chose it.
Spa's one of those tracks as well. That's just, we raced that. That was the final of
season 1.
Yeah, that was interesting. That was a tough track.
There was a big field spread on that.
Yeah, that was huge.
Yeah, that's the only issue with the longer circuits and the longer lap time, and it is the field spreader. But
it's one of those things, I think, is that you can't always predict it. I think it's a bit of an oddity. And I think the thing with Race Room that is, I think, so good is that the fact that, I mean, if you drive like, I don't know, Gran Turismo, and I know it's not real, it's the real, whatever it is, and even back to the Project Cars 2 games, is you didn't really get like groups. You could quite easily catch the next group and la-di-da. But in Race Room, is that if you end up in a battle and there's a breakaway at the front on a bigger track with the tow, it really then comes into its effect. So it's, again, I think it plays into that mentality of how hard, again, that race 3 argument, how hard do I have to push through this to make sure they don't disappear into the distance? But I think I think the tracks are a weird thing. I think it's one of those things you'll never get it 100% accurate, and you'll never keep anybody happy.
Yeah, but I think in the same
sense.
breath, though, that's why we always pick a variety, because we know you can't please everyone. So if we pick a complete variety of tracks, you'll at least please everyone, because they'll have a guaranteed favourite style within the variety.
Yeah, 100%. And I think that's what makes it nice and balanced, and that's why, and I think, again, from a driver's perspective, obviously, from both yours perspective, I think, would I be right in saying, like, you have a bad week, say you go to a track you don't like, you go, I hate this track, can't stand it, whatever, and then you go, ooh, I get a third, I got a fourth, and I got, I don't know, say a fifth in race 3, you come away going, oh, that was a rubbish track, well, that was a good day. I mean, I presume there is some of that in there, to be honest.
Definitely, 100%. And on the flip side, I love Watkins Glen, and we went to Watkins Glen, and I had so much ballast that I finished 10th, and 9th, and I walked away, and I still walked away thinking, you know what, that was all right. That wasn't that bad at all. And then I've come to Suzuka, where it's a love-hate relationship, because I love to drive it until I see where my lap time is in the leaderboard. And I've come away tonight carrying 60 kilograms of ballast, thinking I'll be nowhere, and I've got a P6, a P7, and another P8, I think. So I can't complain again. And I think, you know what, I've done all right.
I mean, would you say that as well, Russ? Is that something like?
Yeah,
you'd say that as
would,
well.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I must admit, the ones that I've not really driven a lot of, like I've not really done a lot of Suzuka, I kind of think, I look at it at the start and think, oh no, Suzuka this week. And then by the time I've sort of done it, I kind of go, oh, actually, do you know what? I'm quite enjoying this circuit. And then obviously you get into qualifying and realise that you're kind of in the middle of nowhere when you thought you was doing all right. But no, I thought tonight, even with a ballast and not being quite on the pace as everybody else, I've still really enjoyed it.
Yeah, I think it's one of those things. I think it's like you're saying, like both of you said. I think you come away and you go, you feel drained, and then you sit down. And as always, you have that little bit of time, and you go, no, actually, that was quite good fun. Don't want to do it again, but it was fun.
Oh, I'd always do it again. I might do better next time.
Like rewind.
Yeah, rewind. If we can rewind race 3 to the start of lap 6 or lap 7, whatever it was, and then go from there, that'd be great.
That'd be fine. Right. Well, I'm going to end it there, because I've realised that it is 20 past 10 at night. But as always, gentlemen, thank you very much for joining me for Pawley's podcast. That's what we're going to call this feature now. It's going to be called Pawley's podcast.
Love it.
So please,
no worries.
You're more welcome than join me every single week, and we'll just have a chat at the end of it.
We'll do. We were trying to keep you on till 11:30, Andy. Actually,
We did say that.
You've called time early.
Yeah, you know why? Because I have a clock that I watch. So by 10:30, I just close it off. And this isn't me. Like 10 o'clock, I'd go, oh, and that'll be the end of it. Because I would talk until 11:30. That's my problem. Which is why I'm like, I've 10:30 is it. So a little bit early on that. So yeah. Again, thanks for joining me during the races and chatting. Thanks for joining me on Pawley's podcast. We're going to start this till the end of the season, and we'll see where it goes after that.
Love it.
Yeah, so more than welcome to join me on Pawley's podcast Yeah. Next
No
week.
worries.
All right. All right. Thanks, guys. I will. Yeah. No doubt talk to you during the week.
Yeah,
Nice
no
one, mate.
bother.
Cool.
Speak to you soon.
Ta-ra.
See you both later. Bye.
So there we go. That's it. It obviously took a bit of a long time because we have the Pawley podcast. Thank you, everybody, for joining us. Thank you for staying with us. If you're still with us, if not, please watch it back again. It's very good fun. I'll be on the YouTubes as always. Big thanks to our sponsors, Tony Tamiya Parts. Welcome to the new designed Combox. And wow, there is a lot of messages on the chat. So yeah. Thank you, good night. I will be back same time, same place next week for Silverstone International. Good night and goodbye.